Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Inglewood Cliffs Mayor and Council regular meeting. Today is August 14, 2024. It's the time now at 6:38. I call this meeting to order. Ms. Bora, could you have a roll call, please?
Mayor Park,
Yes.
Member Liang,
Aye.
Member Bigatz,
Yes.
Member Kim,
Here.
Member Di Gregorio,
Here.
Member Simon,
Here.
Member Luciano.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you will read the open statement. Okay, could you read the open statement first?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, PL 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the time, date, and place and purpose of this public meeting through a legal notice published in the record, posted on the bulletin board and on the borough website.
And then this, right? Okay, please all stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. And then we did it. Okay. We're going to start this order, right? Okay. Okay, we're going to start about each department report. In advance, I want to appreciate all department head and their crew member. Last Tuesday, we got the heavy rainfall. Fire department and the police department and DPW, they did a really tremendous job. But they got so many incoming phone calls, they cannot handle it on timely manner. Some of, they are the first priority, life-threatening emergency, they took care of first. So some people may be delayed or not got any, support from them. They are blaming me. But this kind of a situation, we really cannot control it. So please understand about this situation. Anyhow, I really appreciate police department, police chief, would you come to here first? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just mention something. I know that Mrs. O'Shea requested that our police and DPW remain. Did you mention?
I sent an email.
Oh, you did send an email.
Fire.
Okay.
You told me fire and police.
Fire and police, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a request.
To stay for public portion. Also, Shay has a question.
No, I was not aware of
I
that.
sent an email, sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you're having a good summer. Mayor, thank you for the kind words. As you mentioned, the storm was, we were very busy. The call volume was just about the worst I've seen in the next 24 years. We did prioritize the calls and triage them as they came in. So, my first remarks, I just want to mention the passing of retired Lieutenant Paul Bannon, who passed away on July 12th of 2024. He served the borough for 25 years, and I just think it's important to remember Lieutenant Bannon since his passing. I did receive a request, or a notification rather, from a organization called Breaking AIDS. They're doing a charity bike ride from Philadelphia to New York City. Their route does take them through our town. That event is occurring on September 15th between the hours of 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. They are not requesting any traffic assistance from the department. It's just a courtesy notification that they'll be passing through town. It's not an organized bike race, it's just that their route is coming through our town. So, working calendars for the 15th of September, that is. Going back to the storm of last Tuesday, I just want to thank my officers, Lieutenant Tracy, who was on the desk, Officer Heckinger, Officer Regan, Officer Core, Officer Rampersad, Officer Moretti. Just an extraordinary call volume, an extraordinary storm, unbelievable amounts of water. And we really did the best we could with that situation. I also have to thank the fire department, Chief Nicow, for all their support and DPW for the assistance they provided, as well with some of the roads that were closed due to flooding. Since we did have one burglary in the north end of town, that remains under investigation. I'll keep you updated on that as we develop leads on that case. The traffic in town, the closures of Palisade Avenue continue. That will be coming to an end on or about Labor Day, but before school reopens. Some community outreach again this month. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we will be doing our annual Cone with a Cop event. That is between 2 and 4 p.m. I hope to see you all stop by headquarters for some ice cream and a tour of headquarters.
When was that, Chief?
That is tomorrow, 2 to 4. That's been announced on our message trailers throughout town and also on our social media platforms. And Councilwoman, just an update on the Outpars. I spoke to the county.
Okay.
The permits have been filed, and they're just waiting on approval. After the approval, they will begin the installs.
Any timeline?
No timeline, that's where we're at the mercy of the county.
Okay, thank you.
Decode that first with Alpars.
Automatic license plate readers.
Thank you.
Sorry for the acronym.
Chief, one more question. The storm, how many phone calls we've received, police department? Need help? How many residents? Maybe roughly.
I wasn't at the desk, I wasn't at the communications center.
I was there, and at that time, just for 2 hours, 278 phone calls.
Say that again, Mayor?
278 phone calls for 2 hours.
278.
So there you go.
So
Nearly,
so that's the percentage here. If we talk about the repeat phone calls or whatever, and we have 1,700 families, more or less, and we have 200 phone calls, then it's a pretty high percentage here.
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Thank you.
very busy. As a matter of fact, Lieutenant Tracy, who has nearly as much time on as me, he's been here 23 years, he said this is probably the worst he's ever seen. As far as call volume.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chief, I'm sitting here as a councilwoman, but I'm speaking as a resident now. I was a victim of a crime a couple of weeks ago, and I just want to compliment Detective Totten for the amount of time and energy and help that he gave me during a very stressful time. I'm not insensitive to the quality of life issues that go on, but I was now a victim of a crime. So I appreciate your support and your officer's support, and please acknowledge Detective Totten for that.
I will, I'll pass on your kind words, and I appreciate the recognition, but on that day, in that case, you weren't just a councilwoman, you weren't just a resident,
I was a victim.
you were a victim, and we would do the same for anybody. I'm glad that was resolved, and things worked out well. But you kind of got to see firsthand, just one case,
Right,
the amount of time and energy that goes into one case. And we deal with cases like that every day.
well, I want to acknowledge
And
it firsthand
just the amount
at
of,
a meeting that the public is
Yeah.
at, that I appreciate, and everybody in this town should as well.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of my report, Mayor.
Okay, I thank you for your report, and at this moment, I didn't know that about it, that our Lieutenant of Police, Paul Bannon, okay, at this moment, I'd like to take a moment of silence for him. Okay, let's take a moment of silence all together, please. Just, okay, that's okay. All stand up, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, who, next, Mark, you gonna do that? Okay, DPW, Department of DPW. And then they did a great job at that time. I know them. They really, it was a difficult time they are experiencing. Also, they got so many phone calls and complaints. I know that. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, not to reiterate the chief, but yes, last week was fairly taxing, very stressful. We received approximately 7 inches of water in 2.5 hours. And two, similar. Say 7? Yes, yes. 7. Approximately. Yeah, normal.
It was, okay.
You know, 2.5 hours.
Recording in progress.
For years, and that was pretty substantial. We've done some hurricanes, snowstorms, and that was something we haven't experienced before. We did have flooding, every roads did flood, so we did receive, we were left with the estimate. I do want to thank the police department, fire department, it was on one person, but, the accolades to the department, much appreciated. Moving on to some other events, we're gonna schedule our second paper shredding recycling event for October 26th down at DPW, 9 to 1. We're gonna add a food drive to this, and I'll have more information on that in September's meeting, regarding what food pantry needs, that, what they recommend. Of course, anything will be appreciated, but, we'll get that information out, right away. On July 15th, I attended the site meeting at Veterans Park, meeting wall, on Irving Avenue. Seems to be moving along well. We also on July 16th, met with the Recreation Department in assistance with their 5K run, which is scheduled for September. And then July 16th, I also met with PSE&G regarding their paving plan, which I believe everyone has hopefully got this map. Everybody get this.
Yeah,
this
can you
map?
explain what it is?
Right, I will in a minute. Going back to last Friday, August 9th, Hurricane Debby passed through, shortly after this one, I have no damage report in there. With that, I know the hurricane was recorded that it came through the area, but no damage was done. Tomorrow, I'll discuss further on the paving program, and tomorrow I have a pre-construction meeting with our contractor, KLS Paving, who's going to do our roadside co-op paving. Okay, so if I move to the map, this map, excuse my colorful version, but, the schedule recording includes PSE work as well as our own work. Our own work, the roadside co-op work, is gonna be the work in the dark blue, the purple. Okay, that's gonna be Fairview Avenue, Lincolnhurst Avenue, and everything in between. That's borough work from the roadside co-op. Floyd Street, part of the local aid program. That's, I'm working on the specs with Taylor and the PSE&G work. The PSE&G work has been segmented in 3 different areas. The area in red, just south of our area, will be the first to be addressed. The green area south of that will be the second, and the other area will be the third. We're gonna work in that order due to the construction schedule as far as install, settling, things like that. Palisade Avenue and Persian Road will be dealt with last, as they are right now road detours for work being done on Palisade Avenue. As we get closer, I'll be looking for a fall pave, or just more information as we go into September.
I thought we were told before, right, Floyd just saying the purple that we're gonna be responsible for?
Or through our local aid, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought Floyd was totally destroyed by PSE&G.
Yeah.
I thought we were told that PSE&G would be covering the repair of Floyd Street, and it would be no cost to us, but I also see a bond that we're supposedly going out for, being authorized tonight for over $1 million. I'm totally confused, and this is the first time hearing about it, because the last information that we were, is that PSE&G is going to take care of Floyd Street. As a matter of fact, I went to Mr. Barbario about the curbing in front of the little park that you created that still hasn't been repaired, and we were told that 100% that they were going to be responsible for it. Now I'm shocked that I see that this is gonna be part of, and I'm shocked that we have a bond on the agenda tonight for $1 million. When the last thing that I was told is that PSE&G would be absorbing all that repair. And I'm necessarily asking that you answer all of it, maybe with the administrator. I'm just at a loss for words as to how we're going out for $1 million bond when we were told it was being covered.
How the PSE&G program works is they're gonna restore what they disrupt. And that's center line to curb line. Okay, so they're really only paving half the street.
But on that street, and I don't mean to interrupt, I
Yeah.
apologize, on that street, they did both sides.
Yeah.
They went down the
Areas they
middle,
did,
they went down the
right.
right, they went down the
Correct,
left, so how do
correct.
we determine on that one that they're gonna do from center? And I know that when the engineer was here, that we had this discussion about we try to horse trade, and them do this, and them do that. I don't see, on this, and I don't mean it towards you,
I
Mark.
get it.
I don't see on here any horse trading, and I see $1 million bond on the agenda tonight. Once again, I don't mean it towards you
Right.
personally, I mean it towards all of us, because this is something we should all be concerned with. And I never heard of $1 million bond until today, or yesterday, whenever we got the updated agenda stuff, but thank you, I'm sorry.
Council, quantities from Floyd Street are put into the sections that PSE&G are gonna pave. This way they can pave full roads. The local the DOT grant we have to use for Floyd Street, because it's got characteristics that are rare to other streets, such as county road, school, thoroughfare, things like that. So in essence, PSE&G's quantities are just being put on the street so we get full roads paved.
Okay, can we get something from either you or Mr. Barbario that shows us what the horse trading was? Because I don't feel comfortable voting on $1 million bond.
You received it
when
already.
we don't know, we received it already?
Yeah.
When did we receive it?
It was that long list with all of the PSC&G paving where it had Floyd Street and the quantities. It was 7,500 ton of the 16,000 ton that we're getting. We're getting 7,500 ton for Floyd Street to be used on other streets.
Okay,
And the
what I'd
reason-
like is, I'd like to have a breakout.
You do have a breakout, we already gave it to you,
Can you give it to us again?
later, like another day, not today. I can't give it to you
I don't
today.
mean right at this
Oh,
moment, sir, I mean,
okay.
let's be realistic, I mean,
Okay.
come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
But
I
I
want you to do
send
it right
out
now,
stuff.
give it to me right this
but the thing is, I send out stuff, it's not read, it's not looked at, and then we're questioning about it at the meeting. We explained all of that, we had meetings about it, Councilman
had
Di
meetings?
Gregorio was here.
When was it ever brought to this council?
It was brought to the Public Works Committee.
When was it ever brought to this
It's
council?
being brought tonight,
Tonight, when we have a bond on the agenda for $1 million.
because you missed the Public Works Committee meeting.
I missed the public works.
Yes, you
meeting.
did.
When was it brought to this whole, this body? You had a public works committee meeting.
I
that
provided-
you know why? Because you gave us a notice the day before, and I have to work,
No, I didn't.
okay? And I notified you and said, don't, because you even came to me and said,
No,
should we
it
wait
wasn't.
and hold the
We
meeting?
had
And I said, don't
PSCG.
hold the meeting.
I couldn't have called it a day before because PSC&G was there.
Mr. Ribeiro, whatever date.
You
that
need to
know-
attend the Public Works meeting or else you're not informed. I
Once
apologize.
again,
I apologize that you think you're
When
uninformed,
you're done, let me
but
know.
I'm open. I'm open. Everything, I provide everything. I provide the documents multiple times. You have the list of all the PSC&G streets that are being paved. You have the Riverside Co-op streets that are being paved. You have all of them, okay? I understand your questions. I understand that. But when I send an email and it's read and reviewed, if there's a question, I'm willing to answer it. Just like I was willing to answer the pitching mound question at 4 o'clock today. I'm willing to answer it.
You mean the change order that we were just notified today about?
That the
Right,
park
that I'm
committee
not on the
approved.
park committee, so I don't know who notifies the council. That's-
Nobody
please
notifies
let
the
me
council.
finish.
Because when we
Please let
talk
me
about,
finish.
hold on,
Please
let's
let me
talk about,
finish.
let's talk about change
Please
orders.
let me finish.
Let's talk about change
Please
orders.
let me finish.
Hold on, let me talk about change orders. Because change orders, when we discuss change orders about bringing change orders to council from the Parks Committee, everyone, including you, said if they're a small item, if it's not a big deal, and if it's still within the number that we approved, it's okay to move forward with it. That's what was discussed. That's what was agreed upon. That's what was in the email. So tonight, there's a change order that I approved because the council approved for me to sign off on small change orders from the Parks Committee. The Parks Committee that is helping run the project.
Okay, you're done?
I apologize.
Are you done? Okay, so since we weren't even talking about the park, but since you opened up that can, okay? Yes, I agree with you that things that are de minimis, but you know what, that we're finding out? That the changes now are not just the pitchers now. The changes are, now the Little League is gonna play softball there, which was never discussed anywhere, was never brought to the council, and you're making a decision and trying to make it be de minimis, when you know what? It impacts everywhere else. Softball was supposed to have their own field, now I'm finding out that we're gonna get movable mounds for the Little League so that they can play softball there.
That's
I
not
also
my
find that-
decision.
Can
That's
I
not my
please finish?
decision. Yes.
Can I please finish?
Yes.
Okay? It's not your decision. That's absolutely right. It should be our decision. And then I see on there that you're making it as, you know what, it's the minimum, it's just a mount. But now I see there's some discussion of 60-foot base paths and 70-foot base paths. Where was that discussion? That was never discussed anywhere.
In the
So
Parks
don't make
Committee.
it seem as though that I'm picking on one little de minimis change. Because you know what? The de minimis change flows a lot further than just the pitchers now.
So-
It opens up a lot more questions about what's the de minimis change that you have. You should have asked. You should have came to us and said, this is or whoever the park committee chair is. That's my whole problem with this. No one comes back as a committee chair and tells all of us anything. And neither do you. And I've asked you repeatedly to please include us on all emails, and you refuse.
I gave
Unless
you-
you want to make a point.
I gave you
Unless you want to have a
approval,
point.
I gave you approval to have my emails. I told our Ocean Technologies to give you access to all of my emails because I'm not hiding anything. And I gave it to everyone here.
Did it ever go through? Because there was a question of it. Wasn't the last I heard that there was a legal question of to whether you can do that or not?
Maybe.
I thought you were being
Legal guy.
sarcastic and cocky.
No, I was
That's what
being
you were
true.
doing that day.
I want you to have access to my emails. I even have a box of your Oprah request of all my emails that you asked from January 1st.
Which was just being sarcastic.
Okay,
Okay.
let's move
Up
on.
at the,
Okay,
at 480,
here.
you can have.
okay, calm down, everyone. A lot of residents waiting here, so we can further discuss later on. And if we have a problem, closed session, we can discuss about this one.
With all due respect, it has to do with our lack of communication.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
No, please let me finish. That's my point. I'm not looking to argue, but you know what? That's the point. And that's what you should be enforcing with everybody. These things shouldn't be brought to us the day of a meeting. I should not find out that we're going out for $1 million bond today. I shouldn't get the final bill list today. Okay, I shouldn't get the final agenda today. That's my issue, and anybody who's been here or listening to the meetings has been the same thing that I've been requesting for months and months and months. I apologize, but that's my issue, not anything else, communication. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, thank you.
Mark, thank you.
Sorry, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark, I have a question. Yes. What exactly is PSCNG doing here? I don't know. Do anybody knows exactly what they're
You got an
doing?
email.
I can,
Got an email on it.
No,
Councilman,
honestly.
Councilwoman Begats, I've sent out information. I can speak a little bit to that, and I also want to respect all of the audience that's here. They're here for, I believe, a specific reason. So I don't think we need to go down any other rabbit holes, and we should respect why they're here. Very quickly, PSCNG has a $95 million project, and they have made this town into a war zone, basically. There are conversations, we have debated, and I spoke with the borough administrator, possibly they contract out to Fletcher Kramer, and they've been making a mess, and I may, at some point, make a resolution to bar Fletcher Kramer from, if they don't clean up after themselves and repair things. So I'll just leave it at that. That's what they're doing, and plus they're replacing the gas lines, and the gas lines are high-pressure lines that are going through the whole town. So they're doing two projects at once, and the town really does look like a war zone. And I will also say that I have copied the CEO of PSCNG a number of times. I've copied people on the council objecting to what they're doing to this town. And with that, I hope that answers the
So
question.
Rivka, they're giving us 16,440 cubic yards of asphalt, of which we are doing full streets, which is on your map,
Instead of money, correct?
instead of money. They have a paving contractor, they repave. The issue with Floyd Street is that the DOT will not allow us to use the grant if we're using the contractor from PSE&G. So we have to go out. We are getting the equivalent from PSE&G to pave other roads for Floyd Street. We have $340,000 for Floyd Street from the DOT, and we need the balance to pave the entire road. Now, the bond ordinance is for the entire road, but there's also, the way we're putting out the bid, there's also alternates. So we can go from one section to the next section to the next section, based on what we want to do, right? So the approval to go out for bond is really what we're talking about tonight with the ordinance. But when we actually decide, when we receive the bids of how much we want to do, that's the total bond that will be sold, that we will have to pay on. I'm sorry it's complex, but this is how things are.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is that make Mark, I know, it's just been brought to light yet again because of these torrential rains, these once in a lifetime storms that we get. Are our pump stations able to handle this? And do we have a backup? Do we have generators? Should we lose power
We have
for these to continue to work?
pump station, first question, or
Yes,
operating
please.
as a ship. We'll say.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are they for? Stormwater or sewer?
Sewer.
They're only for sewer, they're not for stormwater.
We deal, when these events run through, two separate systems. The pump stations don't deal with volume.
Okay.
Riverside.
They only pump sewer.
We
Right.
have no crossover?
I have a question.
Sorry, this is not the public portion, sorry.
They need to reduce the feedback.
That's what memory serves. Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And our fire department is here? No. Okay, then why don't you,
Mayor,
Administrator.
I will defer my report to Mateo tonight. There are 2 items on the agenda.
Uh-huh.
That's the reason why I asked Mateo to be here. One of them is if you could talk a little bit about and maybe explain Floyd Street again, the way it was proposed, as well as the requirement from the EPA and the DEP about our GIS, as well as, what was the other item? Fifth Street.
Fifth Street.
Fifth Street. Go ahead.
Okay, in regards to Floyd Street, the borough received 2 grants from DOT, from the 2023 municipal aid grant and the municipal grant from 2024. Under DOT requirements, the borough would have to go out to bid for these 2 grants. I understand PSE&G has come in town and ripped up Floyd. However, DOT will not allow you to use the same contractor that will pave the PSE&G roadways, which is why we split up Floyd Street separately. We split up Floyd Street into different base bids for the two grants we received, and the remaining portions of the road is alternates. So depending on how the borough would like to award, would take us to whatever those limits are.
Can I just interrupt you 1 second?
Yes.
Does the whole road need to be done?
Yes,
So what good is segmenting it if the whole road needs to be done?
that is depending on how the borough funds the project, the available funds.
You can't
Still
leave
needs
that
to be
road
done.
like
We
this.
still have to pay.
Okay, thank you.
Can you just mention how much in total each of the grants were, so that the public is aware?
The first grant from 2023 was $157,970, and the second grant was $186,939.
How much is it anticipated the project for the whole Floyd Street to be?
I don't have the estimate in front of me, but I think it was roughly $1.3 million to pave Floyd Street from East
So they're really
Palisades
short.
to Van Wagner.
This is why the bond.
Just about a minute in between.
The other proposal that we gave the borough was the NJDEP MS4 stormwater infrastructure mapping as a requirement of the NJDEP Tier A municipal separate storm sewer system permit, which is a permit that the borough receives from the state to discharge all stormwater into state open waters. The DEP is requiring that the borough develop, update, and maintain a electronic MS4 infrastructure map for all stormwater facilities within the borough and operated by the borough. They are required to submit an electronic copy to the state by January 1st, 2026. We had a meeting with the borough administrator and DPW that demonstrates this mapping and what the borough would be receiving for this.
And how much it's gonna cost us?
I think off the top of my head, it would cost, hold on. 1 second, sorry. It would cost $825. This would include having, our surveying crew go out there to each stormwater infrastructure, taking the information from that, from those storm, facilities and then mapping them on the GIS, website.
But no work has to be done.
No, this is just mapping out the system.
Just to be clear,
Under 19.
GIS is a global,
It's an online website,
where it actually gives an actual position of
Yes.
where everything is.
it'll give a GPS coordinates for every stormwater, facility.
Okay, so you'll be doing that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Why it's so expensive?
I just wanted to continue and then I'll just comment at the end.
It would take 10 to 12 months. It is a pretty hefty job because we would have to have someone go out there and to go through every single inlet, manhole, open them up, get invert elevations, pipe sizes.
Okay, so this is the town will do, correct?
Yes.
The manpower of the town. So why we're paying $119,000
Not the
to
manpower
map?
of the town.
The negli-
Negli will be doing it.
Yeah, engineering company. right?
So they want $119,000 for that?
That's what the
Yes.
proposal is on the.
Ah, okay.
This is a project,
This is a project, but this,
resource by you, knowledge by you.
yes. But this is required by the state of New Jersey.
Is it mandatory?
It is mandatory,
The mapping or making it into GIS?
the mapping and the GIS mapping. It's just one map, it's the GIS mapping.
I mean, we have two of them, but I mean, now you're talking about electronic data.
Yes.
Is that being mandated by the state that it has to be electronic data?
Yes, it has to be electronic data.
By January of 2026. Which other communities did you do?
We have done Edgewater, we're going through Bogota. I think Maywood has recently been approved for our proposal, so we have various towns.
Well, that's the only one.
My last proposal is the Fifth Street improvements. I met the borough administrator and Mark from DPW out there a few weeks ago. This proposal is to do a surveying of the area to identify any encroachments that might be out there. They would also identify the right-of-ways and the property limit, the adjacent properties. And this would give us an idea of what site improvements we will be needing in order to accommodate for a full asphalt roadway. The proposal also includes a preliminary concept so that the borough can review and determine if they would like to move forward. And it will also include a preliminary engineer's estimate.
That includes sanitary sewer, because on the proposal I saw only mentioned paving and stormwater.
No, I have to say about that, okay? I'm answering you that, I don't know if you know Zero. The planning board, the last planning board meeting, we approved somebody to change something on his lot with an easement for public utility. So the planning board is paying a lot of attention to the water problems in the town, and one of them is Fifth Street.
Well, I thank you, I appreciate that,
Yeah.
but my question is, I believe what I read anyway, the 119 proposal from them, does not mention anything about sanitary sewer.
No,
It
I
only meant it about,
I understand what you're
that's
saying.
why I wanna know,
but-
does it change it from 119 to 175? I don't think we should move forward with just a proposal for doing.
No,
doing a
we are
street.
paying attention to that,
No,
we
no.
are.
I'm not saying
Anything
you're not.
comes up in Fifth Street, pay attention with that.
Sure, I just wanna make sure that, first off, I think whatever we should do, because it's an ordinance, it says it's gonna be an added assessment.
Oh, yeah,
This
of
should be
course,
also
of
added
course,
to it, but I
yes.
don't wanna shortchange it.
We
And
are
if I'm
not
only
paying.
gonna do I don't want our engineer to only look at making a paved street with curbing
No.
and storm sewer without doing sanitary sewer, because there's still buildable lots on there.
Yes.
And there's going to be a need for some type of sanitary sewer system, so you answer part of it with an easement, so thank you.
Yes, paying attention.
Mr. Mayor, are you done? Mateo?
We will look into the sanitary.
But Mateo, how much is that survey gonna cost?
No,
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 no, no.
No,
19,000.
19,000.
about 20,000.
No, 20,000, okay.
Miss-
Are you aware that Boswell has done a previous study on doing Fifth Street, like a complete pavement? Oh, you have? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Colliers has as well, we've done it many times.
Mr. Mayor, may I comment? quickly?
Yes,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Just for the public, Mateo is our borough engineer. When I started to attend council meetings, I thought the borough engineer was an employee of the borough. He is not. He works for Neglia, which is a separate firm that we contract out to. And the reason why I say that is I know most of you are here for the floods. And I think it's an appropriate time because you're going to be doing a GIS project. And I have actually put together 4 resolutions, and one resolution is directing the borough administrator to contract out a study of the town and of our catch basins and our whole drainage system. So it would seem to me that if you're going to be doing the GIS, that maybe this could be concurrent and save us a little money in doing the study of where we have some deficiencies. I think those deficiencies can be identified to you also, so we can move forward. I do have resolutions about other things, but this one is more pertaining to your area and would be asking our borough administrator to direct you to come up with a proposal of how we could lessen or eliminate or whatever kind of proposal we can do to address the flood situation, which is becoming more and more prevalent. So I don't know when it would be appropriate to pass out the resolution. Maybe we'll wait on that.
I think we want to wait.
Well, I will,
Have
I
discussion
will be
on this.
passing out the resolution tonight because I think we need to get the ball rolling as quickly as possible. There are 3 other resolutions directing the planning board to do certain items that will also help the flood situation that we have in town. In particular, subterranean garages and permeable surfaces. We have a lot of surfaces in town where the water cannot go through. And it's increasing. We have parking lots all the way up and down 9W. So incentivizing the permeable surfaces. I've seen, actually just got back from Germany, and I see that there's permeable surfaces all over the place. They use different materials for parking lots, and I think all of that will maybe not eliminate, but will help. So at an appropriate time, I will be passing out, and I have enough copies for the public, and I have enough copies for us here. So we can take a look and see if we can start moving quickly on studying this problem and directing certain departments to take certain actions. The planning board would have to do a couple of ordinances. And then we would have 2 meetings that we would have to approve them. So it all takes a little time, and the quicker we get started, the quicker we can address your problems out there, which I'm eager to do.
I think we probably need to finish now. This is department reporting sessions here.
I was just told to do the 3 proposals and
Well,
that's all.
I'm springing this one on
Yeah.
you because I'm hoping that our council will pass every resolution, because every resolution that I've written addresses in some way, shape, or form the flooding problem. Next week, as I understand, there's going to be another meeting, a special meeting, where we can carry that discussion forward. But at least we start getting the ball rolling and addressing. I find it an emergency that we do that. There are storms that are coming, and I think we need to get the ball rolling. So whenever it's appropriate, here are the 4 resolutions that I'd like to see passed this evening. So, Mr. Mayor, you can let me
Okay,
know when to pass them out.
why don't you discuss about closed session and then we can make a decision because we don't know.
No, I think that closed session is at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to address
No,
that now.
we're not ready to address that yet. We are not specializing people, we're not
Say he's gonna do
engineers.
it anyway.
Do it, it's okay, it's not gonna pass.
Gets a lot of views without having to down.
Yeah, sure.
Mayor, move, I mean.
Mayor, come on, continue with the meeting, please. You know, we don't wanna sleep here, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay,
That's
and
the end
what
of my
about,
report, Mayor.
Jerry, you all done?
Hold up.
You done?
Okay.
Okay, let the public.
And then, in the meantime, we're gonna move on next. You wanna,
Council discussion.
you mean we're gonna go to council discussion first?
Park Committee.
Park committee, okay, come on in here, okay, go ahead.
He wants the show, you know, he wants the town.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, yes.
Okay, can I have an attention, just for a moment? I know, Glenn, that you have some concerns about change orders. I'm actually here tonight to discuss a real change order, pertaining to the park. The change order to the pitcher's mound is only a change order to the contractor, because it wasn't on the drawings or specifications, but it was always part of the plan to have a portable mound, so that the girls softball, if it rains, would be able to play on the church field. That's the only reason we got that additional mound, so that they would be able to play on both. We still have girls softball.
No, so now you're changing your park plan, not have a pitcher's mound on the Little League. That was not the original plan. I worked with Billy on it. That was not the original plan.
No, that was the plan, and it was always the plan. I spoke to Billy before I came here, and
Not my
And
record.
financially, it is not a big number, it's $45,000. So that, we would have assumed that would be something.
It is disruptive, irrespectful.
I'm sorry, you're just being very inconsiderate.
They're not respectful. Don't do what's
It's not the amount, I think you know where I'm coming from. It's the whole
No.
process.
I
Three
understand
of them.
You're a
that,
council
but
member,
I think
not
that,
being
Nope, not the
informed
same.
of what's happening.
but I think this
finding
particular
out the
change
day.
order is not a good example, because this is not something,
Well, no, we have the other one,
that-
tennis courts too.
Right. right, look, the tennis court's different,
No,
right?
it's the same,
Because
we asked
I'm,
about it last month, we were told no changes. And we already saw from the engineer that there was something in the works that never came to the council, that there was even discussion in
There
the
was,
works.
there was nothing in the works other than a conversation, because we always said we were gonna have pickleball on the tennis courts, right? So we needed to provide for that. And then when looking at the courts themselves, Lanzac was doing the construction. We asked him to give us a price to resurface the tennis courts. And he came back and gave us a price, not to resurface, but to rip out the tennis courts and put new, okay? So, it was his opinion, he would not resurface, because resurfacing, he felt that the underlayment of that was old and needed to be replaced. And that's
I read all that, I'm totally.
right, I read that too. Right, so no one on this committee, especially myself, I tried to gather as much information as I could before coming to this council, and it's been very difficult, you know? We have, those tennis courts belong to CNBC.
Right.
Okay, I don't know what our agreement is with CNBC. I reached out, Laura tried her best to help me, and so did Jerry, to get the information. I still have the information, right? So what I'm here to do is to ask you to take it a step further, because somebody here should be speaking to CNBC. Perhaps they will pay for some of this work. Perhaps we can't do it, you know? Do I wanna spend $300,000 to be told that they can take it away from us?
It's all the same questions that I have.
Number one.
That's exactly right. Well, the process is, I'm here, right?
I know, but I,
You don't have
once
the
again,
one.
we got a
But
response.
last month, I didn't have this on my plate, right? It wasn't something that we were diving into, so I
How did I
had.
find out about it?
It's the same
First
on the
off,
tennis flag.
we get no update from the committee, from the council at all, until last month when you come, no disrespect, but even last month, we got something on the bill list. That, or we got, so, I forget what on the bill list, we got some communication that made reference to exactly what you're talking about, redoing the whole, and I asked you in the meeting, because I said, this
And I
has never
think
been
you
brought to us, and you
shouldn't
said, we're not, where did that come from?
No,
We're
what
not
I said to
discussing
you,
that.
Glenn, is that it shouldn't have been brought to the council yet, because it's something we're still looking into. So as a committee, why would I come to this council to discuss something that I don't have all the details for?
But you already
So,
went to the
yes,
engineer and said
I
the
told
engineer
you.
gave us a proposal for it, and we don't know if we can do it. Doesn't that, if we're paying an engineer.
Don't we need to have a proposal? The engineer didn't do a proposal, the engineer asked the contractor what the price would be. There was no additional cost to Boswell.
There's no cost involved for the
There's
engineer
no
to do
additional
that
cost
analysis.
for the engineer, no.
Ah, well, that's
So,
like
and how do I come to the council without getting estimates, right? I have to get estimates so that you know what.
It was a change order. A change order
But that
means
would
to
be a
me
change
that there's
order.
already an estimate, there's already a plan for
No.
a change. That's when you get to a
Honestly,
change.
right,
You're in the
so-
business. When do you do a change
Believe
order?
me, I am in the business and I know how it works, and that's why I'm not coming to the council until I have all of the answers for it, right? So not only
But
do
it's
you
there
need
tonight,
to
we don't
know,
have all the answers.
no,
Yes, it's on our agenda for tonight.
what's on our agenda, well, I don't know what's on your agenda other than a discussion with me about where we stand with the parks.
Okay, so,
So anyway,
we need NBC, right? NBC.
okay,
This is it, this is the
it's
core
their
of the
problem.
thing.
It's more than that.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with it, but what I have a problem with is first, like the basketball courts. The last committee, I'm sorry, but the last committee, you know, they moved the basketball court because we had an issue of not wanting to go out and spend money on property that we don't own. And we're in the same boat with that. I'm in 100% agreement with what the engineer said. I'm not in agreement as our taxpayers footing a bill on I don't even know if we could do it, on property that we don't own.
I understand,
That's all.
that's why I'm here to
Okay,
discuss this
thank
with you,
you.
right?
There's nothing to
So,
discuss, it's a fact.
The idea is that I put in front of all of you where we currently stand with the budget and how much we've encumbered.
Okay.
As you can see, there's a substantial amount of money left in this budget, there's 900,000 left in this
Don't have to
budget.
spend it.
If you wanted to take out, I'm sorry, Rick, did you
No,
have a
no.
question?
No, I just saying that if we have left money, it's good.
Right.
We don't have to spend it, you
It's,
know?
no one's saying you have to spend it.
No, I just said, it's very good and,
Okay, so, let me finish. So if you were to say that the construction projects themselves for both parks were 10% over budget, that would be approximately 400,000. You would still be left with almost 500,000 in excess. So this is just information for you to think about when you decide what you wanna do with the tennis court. In my opinion, I wouldn't resurface them. If you're gonna do anything, I would replace them. I mean, this money was put aside for the parks. But again, you can't do anything until you find out what your agreement is with CNBC. And I personally can't do that unless you ask me to. I will call the head of facilities at CNBC. And I will talk to them and see what our agreement is and see if they'll be willing to foot some of the bill for this. But it's really not my position as a resident and just a committee member to take that stance.
Yeah,
So-
Debbie,
Well, has anybody asked our attorney or he said he couldn't get through to them. How come it wasn't elevated to our
I
attorney?
asked if we had so that I could see what, but nobody can provide me with that, but if we
I see
could, that would be
years
great.
ago, it's like a
Yeah.
99-year lease,
You
$1
know,
a year, I don't know when
We
it started, it was
did
for year
this
lease.
original lease with Lipton, okay, it's CNBC. I don't know what the deal is with them. The tennis courts originally were put in probably sometime around 2000, 2001. So they're substantially old, right? So we're renovating everything else. If we can, and if we can't have them pulled out from underneath us, right, this is the buffer zone. So chances are, they'll work with you, right, it's the buffer zone, so if they don't have the tennis courts, they're gonna have trees there.
Right, but the lease also says that they get to use the equipment anytime they want.
Right,
So that's what
supposedly my
others should have.
understanding from hearsay, cause again, I don't have a lease, is that they have the left court, which is the one we put pickleball on. Either way, you need to get some information, I provided you estimate from Land Tech, some old estimates to just resurface. It's substantially cheaper to just resurface.
yeah,
It's
Debbie,
not
we,
300,000.
yeah, we got a lot of, money side of the information, request, just the past a few hours even. But here, what is the overall progress for the
Okay,
project?
so thank you.
Yeah,
So
people
parks
wanted
are
to know, so
moving
we
along, parks are moving along great. We're on schedule with Woody Field for March of 2025. That's the schedule, nothing has changed. Today's update on veterans is that they still believe they can finish the park by September 13th. We do have an open issue with looking at temporary change orders for the water drainage. Now, mind you, I've lived here 30 years, unless anybody else, there are people who lived here longer than me. We've never had a problem with our basketball courts being flooded with mud, right? So with this, what the engineers tell me, 500-year storm, 7 inches, 2.5 hours, it came down through the woods behind Debbie Fairs, that area. And there is a drain there, but you know, the influx came in to, it inundated the basketball. So there may be a couple of temporary fixes so that during regular rain, we shouldn't have a problem. And they're working on that with the engineers. I'm told possibly it would cost us up to, and no more than 10,000 for these temporary fixes. But that the borough also needs to look at what's going on as far as drainage. But the problems that people were having on Birch or in surrounding it on Bayview, they don't have anything to do with the construction of the parks. I mean, we haven't done anything different than what we have there. You know, we did put a retaining wall in the middle between the basketball courts and playgrounds, and that retaining wall helped. You know, if that was still collapsed, it would have been worse. But we do need to look at the future of whether it's a 100-year storm, 500-year storm. It has nothing to do with the parks. But if they do the additional change orders, temporary fix, when I say temporary, it could be long, it could be short period, it depends on the rain.
Debbie, what are those temporary fixes they happen to describe? Like, are they gonna put a pit there or?
They're having conversations as we speak, they've
Okay.
had conversations all day, it has to do with some type of a netting and maybe another small curb, but
I
it's
see.
nothing substantial,
I see.
right? And that should deal with our problems with basketball courts. Of course, you have a much bigger issue, with the drainage off Bayview. I know people are here because there's a lot of flooding. I just wanna be clear, it's not because of construction going on in Veterans Park. Again, they said even with those, worst case scenario, maybe it would be September 30th, but they still think they could do September 13th, for the opening of the parks. So, veterans, which is on schedule. So, it's looking good, I was there today, I mean, the park is really looking good. And, you know, excited about moving forward, and the only real change order, that I consider a real change order, of course, is the tennis court. And I'm bringing it to you today because I've done as much research as I can, and now it's up to you guys to step in and make it happen. And there is timing here, you know, if Land Tech is gonna do it, we have to get it done soon. I mean, we're gonna have all new pavement in the park. The whole park's gonna be redone, and then we're gonna come in later and decide if we wanna do this, and you can do that, it's your choice. I wouldn't recommend it.
Right, if we come in later, we're gonna damage the hardscape?
I would think,
Okay.
yeah. So
Unless they let us come in.
And the drainage in Veterans Park, that is just limited to the basketball courts, or are you also talking about like the area by the gazebo? Between the gazebo and the
we
basketball
didn't
courts?
have any problems.
On that.
The gazebo area, we had no problems.
Right,
The
right.
playground, we had no problems. The basketball court,
Right.
you know, there's a retaining wall, I don't know if you know.
Yeah,
it collapsed,
yeah,
they
behind the
rebuilt it. So
fencing.
you can actually enter the basketball courts from that side,
Right,
and that's where the water went in, and it
Mhm.
also went in over by Birch, because it came down the hill
oh, I see,
and came in that way. But there's a lot of drainage around there.
Okay.
A lot of drainage. So,
An issue for all that.
yeah, so, like I said, I don't know if that ever happened in my living here. So there's no way of knowing that that could happen and we could avoid it.
right.
So I can't blame the engineers
Yeah.
on that. you know.
The basketball courts are currently under construction, so we don't know if there would have been had there been no construction, would the basketball courts been damaged in as a result of the flooding?
Well, the basketball courts, really what you see there is just, you know, the same thing I was there before with asphalt. We
Right.
haven't done the asphalt surface.
Oh, you haven't yet? Okay,
No, so there's no damage.
Okay,
It needs
so-
to be cleaned up
right.
from the mud.
I see, got it.
So that's a borough issue.
Right.
And hopefully they'll get that cleaned up.
Okay.
That's that's it. I mean, if you have any other questions, I'm always available, everybody has my cell phone number, and again, I try to be as transparent about everything, I don't like to bother you about anything until I've researched it, because that's why I'm here today. I'm sorry if there's a misunderstanding that things are going on that we're not keeping apprised of, but that's not how I operate.
Thank you,
Be
Debbie.
sure that I'm not doing anything without, I wouldn't have come with a $4,500 change order. I must say, I wouldn't have, I don't know why it came out. But
It came out, Debbie, because I'm not comfortable with some of the individuals on council who think that something nefarious is going on behind the scenes. That's why it came out.
well, all of this back and forth, whatever's going on with the council, yeah, it's just gonna, I don't want it to slow things down. I mean, we're on a roll here, everything is good, things are moving forward. If anybody has a problem that change to the parks, please give me a call.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay.
So Mayor, if I can, I just contacted Michael Jean. I copied Matthew on it as well. Michael Jean is the state and local director for NBC Universal, CNBC. He's the individual I talk to when he has questions about 800 Sylvan and 910
Oh,
Sylvan.
yeah, okay.
So I just asked for a meeting with him so that we can discuss the tennis courts.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's good. Okay. Okay, next, I'm going to open the public comment. But before starting public comment, I know I'd like to thank everyone here. I know you are attending here because of last week of terrible flood situation. As you know already that we sent out the townwide constant contact. We're going to do special meeting next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, exactly same place here. We're going to bring any specialist and professional, and then we're going to take care of all these matters most urgently. And my goal is, as a mayor, I will make it my top priority to solve this issue and find a solution with the residents. That's my goal. So tonight you can do public comment, but we have a 5-minute time limit. Here's so many people in here, so I don't know, we cannot accept everybody here, then we have to spend the whole night here. So I really asking you, next Wednesday, you can come back again. Tonight, if you cannot attend the next Wednesday, I'm gonna give you opportunity first. Other ones have opportunity to come to next week, please, understand. And I'm going to accept the public comment first, okay? Okay, this is a 5-minute time limit, and I need a motion to open comment.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, come in here and, state your name and address first, okay? Gentlemen, come here first. No, I'm sorry, you can come in. Yes.
Hi, my name is Dan Sterling. I'm at 1 South Virginia Court in Naval Cliffs. I've only been a resident here since the end of 2022. We've had at least 3 significant rain events that created a lot of flooding on South Virginia in that time. So I want to address a few things. I know we've only got 5 minutes, so I'm going to go pretty quick. We have a capacity issue. Localized solutions are insufficient. I was told when I brought this to the building department that I should have an engineering study done on my property, which I did do, and I have done my own improvements, but that helped, but it did not solve the problem, and it did not solve the problem of the neighbor behind me. And there are many people in this audience. I walk the neighborhoods downstream from me, so to speak, on Pershing and street names. But everybody on the stream that essentially comes from Roberts, turns the corner across to South Virginia and goes south, everybody got water. So this is not a localized problem. It can no longer be handled on a house-by-house basis. That's one thing. I am an engineer, I'm not a civil engineer, but I'm very familiar with these types of problems. Also, as a matter of how I learned a lot about this was I hired Hubschman Engineering to do the study on my property, and I learned a lot from them about the watershed that brings water into the area near my house, which again goes down through a lot of other neighborhoods. And I've seen, and I have video evidence of the kind of quantity of water we're talking about. We're talking about a river going down our streets and then into these small creeks, which then overflow and go into all these houses. In my view, they are going to need to be dredged and reinforced with concrete in order to create enough capacity to go through our town without flooding these neighborhoods. Another point I will make is, even that will not be sufficient. There will have to be condemnation of some homes along these waterways for the restoration of some wetlands to gather water. I briefly read some of David's proposals. I would say some of them are great, maybe all of them are great. They're just insufficient. We've got to start thinking much bigger. There's way too much water for, the restoration of some trees, or in your case, the permeable surfaces. It's not gonna help.
Mr. Sterling, this was basically a start.
Yeah.
And I think that the big thing, the most important one, was to have an engineering firm do a study on the town, just as you're saying.
Yes, and I'll get to that, but I'll get to that right now. But my one comment about that, and I don't know Neglia, and I don't mean to impugn him at all. I would just ask that whatever engineering firm is chosen should not be the engineering firm that's been the city engineer for the last 20, 30 years.
Neglia is new.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Because we just don't need vested interests being protected.
Correct.
So I'm happy to hear that they're new. Another huge problem in my view is the ingress of water into our town from surrounding towns, specifically Englewood, and specifically Woodland. There's no drainage on Woodland. They are completely negligent, taking care of their own water. All of that water is flowing into Englewood Cliffs and into our system. So it's overwhelming a system that's already over capacity, and that needs to be looked at. Question was asked earlier about do the sewage and storm drain systems cross? And Mark said no, and I agree with him, and I don't mean to impugn his answer or him personally. He's right, that by design, those two systems do not cross. However, in these large storms, they are crossing because we're getting the high water in the streets during storms is going into those sewage systems, and I think people are illegally pumping storm water from their houses into those sewage systems. And then what ends up happening, and I've got video evidence of this, is we get the sewage system overrunning into the streets and crossing over into the storm drains. And I just want the council to understand, I'm pretty sure, the borough attorney can address this, I'm pretty sure that puts us in violation of state and federal environmental guidelines. Because they're even marked on the storm drains. It says don't dump because these go into streams. We are dumping sewage into the streams. We just can't do that as a town, I don't.
Okay, 1 minute.
Yeah.
You already exceeded your time limit?
That's pretty much it. Next week I'll be happy to share a video.
Yeah, okay, you're more than welcome to your,
Thank you,
okay,
thank you.
okay. Come here first, gentleman, okay.
My name is Henry Mendoza. I'm here on behalf of Chan family who live at 178 Bush, and I'll just read part of their letter. Dear council member and Inglewood Cliffs community. Sorry. 178 Bush.
178 person?
Yeah, 178 Bush. We are a family of 5 and have been living in Inglewood Cliffs since early 2013. this community has been the best place we have lived. However, our tranquil lives were unexpectedly disrupted by Hurricane Ida in 2021, which resulted in more than 3 feet of water flooding our lower level. We rebuilt the lower level with a cost of more than $150,000 and required countless hours of manual labor. We were told that was a once in a century event, and we were healing along with many other neighbors who were impacted by this storm. Unfortunately, this happened again, and we were greatly impacted again last Tuesday, August the 6th. Under just selectively somewhere. And not only again is our lower level entirely flooded, requiring walls to be torn down, HVAC and water systems to be entirely replaced. But we have to clean up the sewage, like just you mentioned, sewage and hazardous water, wastewater from the street that ended up in our garage and lower level. And from this family, they believe the primary cause of this flooding we experienced this time seems to be the pond located between 185 and 171 Hershey. The pond accumulated a large volume of water with the water level rising significantly above the point that's marked. And due to the excessive rainfall, the only way for it to drain was through the street. And the pond was just has just one drainage outlet, which is less than 3 feet wide, leading to a significant overflow of water onto the street and eventually flooding to our home and to our several neighbors' home as well. The lack of adequate drainage for this pond is the main cause of the flooding in this area, for us, for now. And this is not the first time the pond has overflowed. During the 2021, as I mentioned earlier, it happened before, so it's the second time since 2013. We urgently request that the town take some comprehensive measures to manage this pond. Experts should be consulted to assess the safety risks associated with it, and additionally, more drainage outlets probably should be installed to ensure the water flows downstream rather than overflowing into the street. So this is from the Chan family.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, can I ask you a question, Bruce, real quick? Your house, you have under sub-level garages under your home?
Yes, that's true.
And that's, okay, I just wanted.
I was also.
You live next to the stream and the pond, right? The house is next to the stream and the
Yes,
pond?
it's right next to that.
I just sent the council a picture. I
Yes.
was there on Monday.
Okay.
I just sent the council a picture of your sub-level.
Yes, yes. I saw this resolution there mentioning about sub-level garage. But by what degree, like what percentage?
I've never seen it, so I have no idea. There's been no discussion at all.
We'll find a
This
solution.
is something that's being sprung on us.
Okay, thank you. And the lady, okay, come on. Okay, your name and address, please.
My name is Lori Weisbart, and I'm speaking on behalf of my mom, Dee Weisbart, over there. She's 87 today and has been living in Englewood Cliffs. Oh, not today, just in general. She's been living in Englewood Cliffs for over 60 years. And we live behind Upper School. And we've gotten flooding for the past 4 years, and we could see the evidence on the video coming over the curb in the parking lot in Englewood Cliffs in the Upper School. And we're here because there used to be a retaining wall there. And I'll just show you, when we were little, I took videos from when we were little. There's a simple retaining wall there that fell down. And for 5 years, we've been asking for the retaining wall to go back up, and nobody put it back up. And Jennifer Brower, the superintendent, yes, the school has been repaved. It has a lot of other problems that have caused more water to come that way. But we hired an engineer. We have an engineer's report. Anybody can see it. You could see it. And it states that the problems are much deeper, but the Band-Aid of putting a retaining wall back for very inexpensively would keep my mom's home dry. She has over $20,000 bills from ServPro to come clean it up. And the bottom line is, does the school pay or does the town pay? And it's just a retaining wall that, the engineer thinks will be enough of a Band-Aid to keep my mother's home dry. She has our dad dying at home of dementia, and she cannot take it anymore. There's been so many floods in her home, and she's been ignored. And, they wanted proof, and we have proof, we have a video we could show you, and we just want the retaining wall to go back up the way it was there for 55 years. And it just crumbled, it needs to go back up. I'm sure it's very inexpensive to put it back up, and the engineer thinks that it's a Band-Aid and it will keep her home dry. And that's why we're here, and Mark Neville, where is he? We met with him in 2022, and he was very nice, and he said, this is a school problem. And he emailed Jennifer Brower and said, the Weisbarts have a problem, and she in turn just hasn't fixed it, and now she says that maybe it's the town problem because you're having so many other problems. So I don't really care whose budget it comes from, whether it's the town or the school. We're just wondering if that retaining wall could just go back up and keep my mom's home dry so she doesn't just lose her mind.
Okay,
And her money.
thank you so much. We have a meeting tomorrow.
It's 331 Elisa Drive. is our-
Okay, we have a meeting tomorrow, so we're going to discuss about this matter with Jennifer Principal. We will let you know,
Yes,
okay?
I will
Thank you. And then, yes,
also,
come on here.
just one second, I just want to make a quick comment. I know that, that problem intimately in back. I live right on the side. And I know that the retaining wall, there is two problems there. And I've written Dr. Brower a couple of times, and the meeting, the Board of Education meeting is, I believe, what, you said tomorrow? No.
I think it's Friday.
Friday? No, they don't meet on Friday.
Jennifer Brower and Mayor are meeting Friday.
Oh,
No,
okay.
tomorrow.
Well, that wall, I totally agree, needs to go back up. That's the least, and it's cheap, and it's a lot cheaper to put a wall up than to pay a lawyer and to do a million studies. Use a little common sense. The other thing is that there is a clogged catch basin, which I've explained to you also on that property, and that needs to be brought up also. And I'm glad to attend the meeting. I wasn't invited, but I'd be glad to attend and say what I know. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Christina. I'm here on behalf of my dad.
Talking to the microphone, yeah.
Okay, your name and the address,
My
please.
name is Christina Nam. I'm here on behalf of my father, John Nam, who is a Vietnam veteran.
Address?
Last week,
Can you just turn it?
48 Irving Avenue. Last week, during the hurricane storm, our community faced significant challenges, particularly with flooding. My home, located near the intersection of Irving Avenue and West Bayview Avenue, experienced significant severe flooding in our basement. This is not an isolated incident, but a problem shared by many of my neighbors, including Stephen Zinn, who's here tonight. The design of the intersection combined with the low capacity drains on our streets created a perfect storm. Literally and figuratively led to an excessive water damage. This intersection between Irving and West Bayview forms a triangle, which unfortunately seems to act as a collection point for water turnoff. The drains in our area are simply not equipped to handle the volume of water that accumulates during heavy rainfall, specifically during a storm of the magnitude we experienced last Tuesday. The flooding was not just an incident, it caused severe damage to my property, and this problem is likely to persist if left unaddressed. This is more than just a personal issue. The repeated flooding we've seen in this area affects our property value, creates hazardous environment, and places undue financial and emotional stress on our residents. Our community deserves infrastructure that protects us from these recurring problems. I'm here tonight to ask the council to take immediate action. We need an assessment of the drainage system at this intersection and a commitment to upgrading it, whether that means increasing the capacity of the drains, configuring the intersection, or implementing other engineering solutions. Something must be done. We can't afford to wait until the next storm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, you go ahead first. Okay, come out here and wait here. Okay, that's the easy way. No, you just talk about, I'm talking, no, you can go ahead. Yeah, you can wait here. I'm next person to be preparing.
Hello, everybody. My name is Perry Kalajian. I live at 374 Forest Drive. I've lived in town since 1962. I grew up in this town. I represented it in athletics and in other ways. But I can't tell you how disappointed I am, having lived here all these years, of what I've gone through the last few years. To be quickly about this, PSE&G came and paved the road several years ago. They paved it at a lower grade, which made it difficult to get in and out of my driveway. They also paved it at a grade below the curved surfaces. Mark Neville's been out to my place many times. The town actually at one point tried to cite me because there was so much growth between the road and the town, and I pointed out to them that's not my responsibility. They agreed. So at one point I had reached out to PSE&G. They put in a little lip so I could get in and out of my driveway. But I still had that gap there. So I brought this to the attention of Mark several years ago. Time passed, Mayor Kranjak pushed on this, and the solution that the town came up with, Mark specifically, and he's been very good, is to redo the curb. I was against that. I said PSE&G, and I'm glad that you two had brought this up. It was their responsibility. We should have reached out to them. I got pushback. So I said, okay, put the curb in. I got a curb that goes between 5.5 and 8 inches. These people got paid for that. That's our tax money. Why are they getting paid? The worst part of it is they undid the good that PSE&G did so I could get in. Now I have a 3-inch cleft to get in and out of my driveway, at least 3. It might be more than that. Mark's seen it, Jerry's seen it, okay? In addition to that, there's an area where the asphalt is faulted and it's falling down. I've been told since last September that this would be addressed. Then it got cold, they couldn't do it. I was told, and I have documentation from Mark that it would be addressed. Jerry was good enough to come out to my place in late May or early June, and he agreed with me. He said, you know, PSE&G should cover this. We'll get this done mid-July to the end of August. I have gotten nothing from the town as to paving schedule or anything of that nature, and we're through this most of the summer. Also, during this period, my bushes were damaged. 60-year-old bushes that were planted by my parents. I can't even replace them. I was told to submit a bill. I did that February 1st, thinking I would get the money and I could do planting. Months went by, nothing happened. Jerry was good enough to come out. He said, I'll look into this. He indicated that he'd take it out of the amount that was owed to the contractor who damaged my bushes. Also, Boswell said that they would take care of it, never did, okay? I'm told about a month ago, the check is ready, that Mark would deliver it to me. 2-3 weeks go by, I get nothing. I go to the town hall, borough hall, and the CFO comes up and says, you know, we're gonna need a receipt. I said, I don't have the money. How am I gonna get a receipt unless I pay them in advance and get it from you? I spoke to Jerry the next day, and he had changed his position. I have this in writing, everybody, okay? He said, you can get the receipt after the fact. Mind you, I needed no receipt 6 months ago. At 5 o'clock today, I get a call from my gardener. Spoke to Jerry. According to the gardener, the way he understood it, is that you're not gonna pay me at all. You will only pay the gardener directly. I'd like to say this is misinformation, but it's outright lying. It really is. I tried to reach, you're the borough attorney, right? I tried to reach out to you, okay? I'm an attorney also, all right? And I said, I'd like to talk to you. I wanna be a problem solver here, not a problem creator. You never called me back. I haven't gotten any legal explanation of this. This is a simple damages claim. Where you get the money from doesn't matter. You owe me because the town damaged my property. And I'm getting garbage about an audit. It's ridiculous. I don't care where your audit is. It doesn't matter where the money is. And if you want accounting help, I can help you with that too. all right? I have 4 degrees, 3 Ivy League, 2 law, 2 business. I don't have my own firm like you, but you know something? I worked at Skadden Arps, which was the top corporate firm in the country, and White and Case. I think I know a little bit about law, and I don't really, one thing I always learned was, you return another attorney's call to work things out. All I've gotten is the bar being moved. Every time I try and satisfy something, you move the bar. I told you this yesterday, Mayor Park, that they were gonna move the bar, and Jerry moved it within 24 hours. 24 hours.
Okay,
So I wanna know 2 things. 1, when am I gonna get my check? And 2, when are we gonna have this thing paid? Because as a taxpayer, at the very least, I'm entitled to egress and ingress out of my driveway.
okay, thank you. Now, time limit, we're gonna contact you, okay?
I'm sorry, you're gonna do what?
We're gonna contact you.
Who's gonna contact me?
Okay, Jerry or maybe Matt Munch, we're gonna explain to you,
Am I
okay?
gonna get the same baloney that I've been getting?
No, we're gonna discuss about it, and then, your time is limit, already passed your time limit. I'm gonna, okay, come out, sir. Your name and address, please.
Sure. My name is Yoei Lee. I live at 40 Birch Street. The first house, right next to the basketball court, that was.
On the right or on the left?
So if you're facing a basketball court, I'm on the right, right? My house was directly hit by 4 feet of water.
I was there Monday.
Right, which was, twice as much as what I got, from IDA, right? I think, I appreciate, people coming out, and I agree with a lot of the statements were made. Dad, you mentioned about, the park, right, it's coming out nicely, but, actually there were drainage work that was done at that court this time around. Okay, I saw, piping being replaced, and then, my biggest concern right now is the park, and especially with the new drainage is failing us significantly this time. I understand that, we have a lot of water, right, but I got 4 feet of water, which is twice as much as from a major hurricane. Right, so I have no confidence in terms of what the drainage, how the drainage works at the basketball court right now. And if you take a look at the grading, right, the basketball court, which serves as a catch basin, is higher than most of the houses on the Birch. So when you have an overflow situation like the one that we had on Tuesday, you're talking about a raging river flowing down, right, with no protection to our properties whatsoever, right? And then you have your water coming down from the hills. Water coming down from the basketball court, right? All the drainage, they probably cannot catch water because the water was traveling so fast. Excuse me, where do you 40 Birch Street, thank you. All right. So I heard about building up retention wall, on the back of the upper school. Maybe we can consider doing that too, around the basketball court, right? I mean, it's a cheap solution, right? Which will help us, to catch, the water a little bit longer in the basketball court, right? And hopefully it will go away. And of course, that's just a short-term solution. Longer term, I agree with David, right? That we could have a comprehensive study in figuring out what is going on. But guys, we are in the hurricane season. And having the half-done basketball court next to our house is a ticking bomb. I don't know when we're gonna hit, by the next hurricane. I don't know how much rain we're gonna get. Even an afternoon shower, we can show up in the same place today and say, oh, it's a 200-year, why is it a 200-year event? Right, guys, so we're dealing with a public safety issue. It's not just a water drainage issue, it's a public safety issue, right? We have people, my next door neighbor, right, water coming down, right, the intersection of Van Nostrand and Birch, right? Penny's house got hit multiple times, right? So we gotta address this, right? Come up with some short-term solution. Build up retention wall. I'm glad to hear that we have money left, right? So we can actually brainstorm in terms of how to build that place a little bit more secure, right? From a water perspective, right? We can at least have a brainstorm.
I don't wanna go.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
The basketball courts, that drainage is done, that was the existing, there was minimal additional drainage put in by the retaining wall. And so this is not a problem for the drainage.
Well, but then, who can explain to me why do we have, that much of water going
We're
down?
gonna get somebody to assess everything.
Right,
We're not
okay,
experts.
yeah, I understand
We're
that.
gonna look into it definitely.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but who's gonna address the short term? We're in it's a ticking bomb situation.
We know.
We know it's acute.
We know,
Right.
we know.
We also know it's chronic.
Right.
Right, so,
we're here to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah,
And we're going to go in there and discuss how we're going to go forward.
okay.
And then come out here, and if we can come to a
Right.
consensus of opinion, we will take some action.
Well,
think
Councilwoman, I'm
it's-
sorry, the only thing, I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but from a closed session perspective, I don't know that there'd be a basis in closed session for
Correct.
discussing drainage issues.
No,
It's,
that's
you know,
that's
so-
not the issue.
Right, right.
We'll
So,
discuss potential litigation. How's that?
right, if they said that there's litigation involved, yes.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would have to be discussed.
So,
Well, we will definitely come
Right.
and have you do that as well.
yes,
Longer
yeah,
time.
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, you go
Right,
ahead.
no, but you know, also the thing is, right, you know, what about the engineers that
Well, that's all,
oversaw, right?
it's all
So-
part of,
Okay,
it's all part of the same, it's,
It's
there
a
are many
package,
moving
you'll
parts
see.
to this.
and then, I'm gonna ask you the same question that you asked, what is the timeline?
Nobody knows. That is money matters. We don't have money right now. Everybody asking about the put on the bigger pipe. Think of it. Where is our money? No money. We have to, okay, we have to issue the bond I'm sorry about it. I really, sorry about to everybody. But we have so many places, everybody, I got maybe 30 email from the resident. And then I got that night, where are you? What are you doing, Mayor? How to stop that water come down to your house? Even though that the street is all, clogged up. And so, please, be patient. We're gonna work, as I mentioned to you earlier, this is my top priority to solve this issue. A lot of people talking about the very beautiful world. Bottom line, this is money talks. That's why, please be patient. I'm so sorry, okay?
No, I hear you, right, I'm just, trying to sort of brainstorm, maybe we
Okay.
can do something quickly.
Your time is up. Okay, a lot of people waiting here.
Yeah.
Okay, next, please.
So
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say quickly, thank you so
Oh,
much
okay,
for your
please,
comment.
let's move on.
Yes, but I just want to interject one quick comment. There's a resolution that we can actually move our engineer into position right away to start the study. And so that resolution that I passed out, that's the most important resolution that we could pass tonight, to move Neglia onto a study. And I hope that all the council people will vote for directing our borough administrator to direct Matteo with Neglia to begin a study on the entire town, so we know what we're talking about. We don't have to wait till next week to do that. We can do that tonight.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Chris Brigatti, I live at 175 Pershing Road, right next to the Pershing Pond. Across the street from the neighbor that spoke earlier. I'm gonna make this quick, I don't wanna go over everything that's been said, but basically there's also issues with regard to water coming through other properties onto my backyard. I have at least 2 to 3 inches of water in my backyard, as there was a waterfall coming from other properties. I built this house about 12 years ago. I previously built a house in the town about 8 years before that. I had innumerable conversations regarding coverage, permeable pavers, all the other things that were required in terms of retaining water on one's property. There's a lot of water coming onto my property from other people's properties that is not being handled and has not been handled. It's going into the pond, so even before it gets to the pond, it's not water coming out of the pond coming back to my property, it's water coming from other people's properties onto my property, which eventually will get to the pond. I've redone my basement twice for previous storms. I've put in some stopgaps in order to avoid it this time, which thankfully worked. But that just saved my basement, the rest of my yard has been ruined. So I just wanna, it's really hard to talk to everyone.
Glenn, can you go out and just can you tell them to not talk?
Okay, please be quiet. Audience, please.
So my neighbor, my next pond is here as well. His basement got completely flooded out. I watched the water coming in, I watched it overflowing into the pond, I went into my backyard to see how bad it was coming in. So I just want to urge everyone to get together on this, really solve the problem and avoid anything that's going to delay the process. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, next, please come out. Name and address, please.
My name is George Brasanos, I live at 264 Haskell Drive. We have a garage below the
ground.
Closer to the mic.
264 Castle Drive. Can you please? I'm having a hard time hearing what everybody else is talking. I'm sorry.
It's outside.
Wherever it's coming from, I'm just asking. 'Cause I'm having a hard time hearing this gentleman.
We have
There's people talking right here, sir.
Door.
Leave the doors open, please.
Can you close, can you
The noise is coming from the hallway.
Thank you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Okay, just get close to the mic.
We have a garage below the ground, with neighbors with Councilman Liang. My overriding question for this leadership team is, how much do families have to suffer before you take decisive corrective action? We moved to this town before me in 2018. It was a big mistake. In 2021 Hurricane Ida, we spent more than $110,000 fixing our home. 5 feet of water in the garage, 5 feet of water in the basement, 2 cars lost. Extensive drainage system placed in the driveway because it's downsloping. The talk then was, it's once in 100 years. That's not true. It's happening more and more frequently, as Councilman Di Gregorio pointed out. And then last week, same exact thing. A river of water, as one of the other residents described it, flowing down, breaking down the garage door into the garage, flooding the basement despite the waterproofing we had done, despite the drainage system. My family moved back today because the house was there was too much smell in the house after the cleanup. And I have a contractor now looking at our house, decide, how do we fortify this house from all directions from water coming in? It's gonna look like a castle. No pun intended. Brick walls, drainage systems, gates that pop up with floodwaters. How do you expect people to live in this town? We're looking for homes outside of Englewood Cliffs. And I know it takes money, but there has to be a combined, unified team here that gets the money needed to fix not just our problem, everybody's problem. My kids were crying when they went back in the house today. Why? When is this town going to fix the problem?
Thank you. Okay, yes. Come up, please.
My name is Sarvan Benzer. I live at 48 Birch Street. And this gentleman, the prior speaker, just stole a little bit of my thunder. One of the things I was going to say was that we have to stop calling this a 100-year or 500-year storm. It happened, a very similar thing happened on Birch Street 3 years ago in 2021. It also happened in 2006 and 2008. And although I wasn't living in the town at the time, at least not at my current address, I was told by one of my neighbors that it also happened in the early 1990s, maybe 92, 93, something like that, on our street, on Birch Street. So it's been happening maybe on average once every 10 years since the 1990s. It's not a 500-year or 100-year situation. And I also have a question, I'm not sure to who, but when this happened in 2006 and 2008, I was here with some of my neighbors, again, talking to the council and everything. And they did a lot of construction on Birch Street at that time, including in the basketball courts at the end of Birch Street, where there's construction now as well. And at that time, although I never actually saw it, I was told that one of the things that they were doing is that they were putting like a giant retaining well, or like, a retaining pit where the water can, flow into and, can hold the water, to prevent the water from coming into the street. And it was just curious to me that there is construction there now, and lo and behold, we get like a flood like this again, right, while that construction is there. So I guess I wanted to ask a question. I don't know if anybody knows the answer or not right now. Is that a holding pit still there? Or was it like, blocked or anything? Could that be a reason why the water came in the street, or is that still there? Or was it ever there? And maybe I misunderstood.
What was the location? What?
Birch.
I'm
Birch?
talking about this holding,
Retention tank.
retention tank.
Correct.
Would have been underneath the basketball courts at the end of Birch Street. That's where it would have been.
Well, that's why we need to get facts.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So I was just curious about,
Yes,
you know,
we're gonna.
yeah,
we're
if
gonna
that's
go
still there or
to-
not, and if it's
We
doing
see
its
it's the
job.
same spots now that we're hearing people.
Yeah,
Certain spots, people are coming up. and,
Right.
Definitely, we're gonna look into it.
okay.
This is what we
Yeah.
hear, and this is what we decided to do, the whole
Okay.
council, so.
But let's not call it a 500-year or 100-year storm
No, no,
anymore.
we're not,
We
we're
were
not,
saying
we're
that
not.
also back in
No.
2006, 2008.
I'm
We
not
always
calling
say that,
anything
that's not the
anymore.
case. It's a 10-year storm.
Listen, it
Okay,
happened
thank
to you
you.
now, it can happen to us tomorrow, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, yes, come on. Your name and address, please.
Yes, hi, Joe Huang from 24 East Bayview Ave. We lived here since 2012. And, we are not at the bottom of a basin, end of a road. We're on the middle of a road, around the corner from you, Mayor Park. And this is the third time our house is flooded since, like we're saying in Ida, that was obviously a very bad situation as well. But, in our situation, what happens is actually that the storm drains are clogged, so the water backs up into our house, so that the sewers, the drain in front of our garage, the drain in the back of our house, then flood, and water comes out of the drain into the house in that situation, because there's nowhere for the storm drain water to go. It's not flowing into the house from the outside. Since you mentioned as well, since Ida, we've done everything from our end. We've raised the lip of our driveway. We've tried to waterproof our garage door with sealant. We've had flood bags all over our property to try to keep the water from flooding. And yet here we are again. This is just happening again. And one of the things I've noticed is that, like I mentioned also, on 6th Street, there are 0 storm drains, on that road at all. So all the water from the houses on 6th Street, whether it's rainwater or water from the sump pumps that they pump out, flows down the side of the street, rounds the corner onto our street, and then onto all the houses on my side. All the properties on our side are just destroyed. And actually, the other side of the street is spared because they don't have the other streets emptying onto their property. It's probably similar to the end of West Bayview as well, similar to all the houses emptying onto that. But in that situation, if there were storm drains on 6th Street, and also I've noticed on 7th Street as well, if there were storm drains there, at least some of the water could decant and go into the storm drains there and not run down the street and then overload the cross streets.
Unfortunately, there's many streets that, when the town was laid out, and because we're on rock and clay, the cost of, I guess back then, and even now, the cost of putting in, on my block, I don't have a sewer for 1,000 feet. And my father-in-law has a house on the top of Denver, not in the gulch, 1 inch of water in his basement that I spent 5 hours cleaning up the other night. This has been, I have another of my family that lives down the block on Loring Drive, for 30 years has been getting, I'm not minimizing, I totally agree with you. No, I'm not, don't tell me what I'm doing, because I'm not minimizing it. I'm trying to explain that we have many areas in this town, we're built on rock, we have many streets, you can shake your head, but we have many streets, unfortunately, that don't have storm sewers. I think that they do need to be there, and I think we do need to do something, and I'm not minimizing what has taken place. I was involved in the flood as well, and I think we do need to do something, but I'm just saying there's many, many streets, not just yours, not just yours, not just mine.
I'm not saying that I have an isolated problem by any means. I'm just trying to highlight areas. I'm just trying to highlight other areas that have not been brought up. If somebody had mentioned the same problem, I wouldn't have brought it up, but there are.
You bring up our point, I'm just, I don't want to say, there's a lot of streets that don't have sewers, storm sewers.
I agree.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next.
What was his name? Is that John Marr? Juan, okay.
Are you okay?
It's my nose. It's hard for me to talk because
Want to sit down?
I had
You want to sit
no,
down?
sorry.
Here, go ahead, come sit.
It's a wire,
Come on, sit down.
It's a wireless mic, you can just take it out and you can sit down. Sit in.
I'll give you the mic.
So
You need some water, Tony?
That doesn't help.
Oh, no,
Okay.
I'll get you one for you.
No, I had throat cancer and it's hard to talk all the time. But you're talking about storm drains. It's not having a storm drain. I got a storm drain in front of my house in the street. I have a storm drain behind the house on a piece of property, the house behind me. It's too small. The rain comes on a 45-degree angle from 2 properties behind my house. 2. Guy next door to me, or one on both sides, but the one on one side has a pool. The pool overfloods. Not only in a storm like we had, but periodically. Over the years, I've had Mark come, he looked at the drain, but it's clean. It's clear, but it's insufficient to absorb the water. I tried to build up my perimeter property periodically, but the more I build up, the higher the water comes. It's a catch-2 situation. So I don't know how the solution is unless we start from scratch and enlarge every storm drain that we have. Because obviously the one behind my house is insufficient. And it's going to be costly, but it's like everything else. Everything you have is costly, and it's only going to be costly more tomorrow than it is today. 15 years ago, I moved here. I suggested we do that court in stages. The engineer at the time said that Johnson Field could be rebuilt in stages. Here we are 15 years later, still talking about the job, still the cost gets becomes more expensive every year. You gotta start somewhere, but the basic is to start from the ground. The ground is the foundation. The ground is what holds everything. So get it right the first time at the ground level, and then go on from there. But there's talk about everybody's different problem situation. If you have 20 storm drains on one street and they're insufficient to carry the load, 20 drain systems is doing you absolutely nothing. So these engineers, God bless them, but sometimes they don't get the situation right. They're not out in the field. On paper, it looks great, but out in real life, it doesn't work. Sometimes they have to get out in the street and look at the situation the way it actually is, rather than on paper. Everything looks good in the picture, but in real life, it's all together different. And they're talking about the woman's 87, not be 88, election day. And that I had to pick up some bags of dirt to put around the perimeter. I picked up 2,000 pounds of dirt at 88 to try to alleviate the situation. I don't want to look like I come from Africa, that we have property that doesn't look nice. You want it to look nice, and here I have bags surrounding my property looking like I'm just starting to build or renovate, which the house has been there for a while, yeah, but they made some wrong decisions.
Okay,
And,
sir,
what?
your time limit is already passed. Would you conclude your comment?
Can you
I
give us
could
your
talk
address?
forever, but,
Yeah, they already have
Can
it
you give me
address.
address?
You have it, right?
8 Marjorie
Would you-
Terrace.
Oh, Marjorie Terrace.
Okay,
I
thank
walked
you so
Marshman
much.
out there. God
Thank
bless
you.
him. He
And then next
looked
to,
at the situation,
Mary
but
okay,
Mary
come
O'Shea
out.
is on the line.
No, just a second, the gentleman. Okay, come out. Yes.
Thank you.
Mark.
Okay, okay.
Hello, everybody. Sansa Barrage, 185 Pershing. I don't want to beat to the ground what everybody else has kind of said about the flooding. My two neighbors are here. I wanted to also talk about the maintenance around the pond that's near my house. I also suffered flooding as well, but this flood also started to deteriorate the walls that are surrounding the pond, and it's going to create a hazard. There's always people coming over to look at whatever's in there, wildlife, I guess. My neighbor, I believe at his expense, he put a sign up that said no trespassing, just for safety measures. And who can we talk to deal with that? The maintenance of the pond and the walls deteriorating, they're starting to crumble. There are areas where, you know, if a kid were to come onto that property, they could easily fall in and hurt themselves. There's rocks down there, there are bricks and everything like that. So I just want to bring that to your attention, that there's a possible for hazard and hurt there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just a second, one of the resident, Mario say, I want to talk to the police chief waiting here too long, so Mario, sir, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Park. Mary O'Shea, 12 Irving Avenue. I didn't specifically want the police chief or Mr. Neville. I just feel that when there's so many issues for the community, it's very good to have the police chief and the DPW superintendent present so they can respond to issues that are brought up by the public. One of the issues that I'm dealing with is, I'm not talking about water now, I'm talking about the cars that are cutting through the back roads from the detours with Palisade Avenue. I notice in some towns we have stop signs that have solar lights around them to flash to remind people to stop, whether it's by Middlesex, by Irving Avenue, by Charlotte Place. And, you know, it might be helpful to cut down on some of that cut through traffic. I mean, it's really, especially when they come through Summit Street between Middlesex, or no, was that Van Ostrin and Irving. That's very narrow, and there's a lot of overgrowth from the wooded side of the street. So the people come down the center of the street, they drive fast. You know, like if I see a car coming and I want to go, I wait. I don't even get on the street because it's too narrow, and they don't slow down. So I don't know if it can be monitored in some way in the future along the way, sporadically, to sort of curtail some of that speeding that's going through there. Because they go straight across, go over to Mercer, then go on to Myrtle and go hit through Route 4 or wherever they're going. So I just ask if that could be something that could be considered with the stop signs, with the solar panels, with the lights around them. I also wanted to address the resolutions that you have for the two tax appeals, 170 and 171. All the compromise settlement is in Scheduled A attached, but the public did not get any of the schedules. So we don't know what the settlement was. We don't know how much it was. We don't know what the value of the property was originally, what the value of the property is now, and how much money is being given back. So I brought this up at a previous meeting, and I think that the public needs to be given that information with the resolutions. The other thing I wanted to mention, been talking about it for close to 9 months or longer, is the smoke test on the sewers. Now, I know that that was supposedly done, and I know that some of the people that have floodings in their house are having sewer water back up in their house. I know of an instance where a resident had water coming out of a toilet that she had in the basement. And that's indicative of the fact that people still have sump pumps hooked up to the sanitary sewers. And that is, that she said, oh, I got mud coming out of the toilet. I said, honey, that's not mud. That's something else. So, you know, that's very unfair because that whole area that water was in now is contaminated. I mean, it's bad enough you get water and you got to worry about wet and mold, but when you have sewage coming into your house. So I want to know if the smoke test was completed on the whole town and how many houses did they test and how many houses had this sump pumps hooked up, and if they were hooked up, has the zoning officer, building inspector, or whoever go out and tell those people that they have to undo that or they're going to get a fine? Because this is part of the problem. When we have a rainfall like this, the sanitary sewers are also overflowed, not just the storm water. I mean, you know, they need to, a couple of things. You need to go through, put the cameras through the sanitary sewers and the storm sewers and see what the capacity is, see if they're broken, see if they're cracked, and fix it. Try to fix some of these things. This is terrible. I remember the people on East Bayview Avenue getting flooded before when there was a storm, and that was because the water on that storm drain goes over the cliffs down through the Palisades, and that drain was clogged. So, you know, just for your information, that's all. I just want to say that. Okay. And I saw in the paper this week, there's a grant program in New Jersey that the governor put in to raise senior citizen access to make New Jersey age friendly. And I'm going to give this article to the administrator. So maybe there's grant money that can be obtained for Englewood Cliffs. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, yes, come on, sir.
Yeah, can go home, Mark.
Oh, yeah, you can go home now, yes. Mark, you can go home. Thank you, okay, thank you for your waiting.
Good evening, David Sevon, 129 Hollywood Avenue. I have made a lot of phone calls and a lot of events to explain to people, Dave DeGorio, other people that work in the administration, that a lot of these storm drains have got to get grates in front of them, chicken fence, chicken wire. 50 years ago, when I first came into this town, these trees were 5 feet high, 5 feet high. After 50 years, these trees have grown over 125 feet into the air. Leaves that you've never seen in your life are going into the storm drains, clogging up the storm drains, and I'm going to teach you. D&D Landscaping came down my block on Hollywood Avenue last year, came with the blowers and everything, 2 storm drains from here, 200 feet worth of leaves, as high as the ceiling, left everything in the street. I heard there was going to be a huge rainstorm. Where I live on a cul-de-sac, so when it rains, all the water goes down, there's nowhere for the water to go. And it comes up to your knees, comes up to your waist. The last storm, I walked down here, the water came over my knees. But that last year, I said to myself, I'm out for the neighbors. I went to my shop, I picked up my snowplow, 8-foot blade, I took all the leaves from D&D Landscaping, I pushed them from one side of the street with my snowplow truck, and my employees, I'm paying for my employees to come out with my snowplow truck, because everybody's promising me that they're gonna come out and clean the leaves. plowed all the leaves from one side to the other side. You know, but when you're trying to call up the borough and trying to explain to these problems and what's going on, Mr. Bulgario never picks up the phone and calls me back.
I did today.
No, you didn't. I never heard from you. Don't even start.
No, I did.
Don't even start.
I know, but I did.
Don't even start.
I did.
You call up administration, 201-569-5252, nobody picks up the phone. You come over here and talk about these problems, nobody cares. You call up the administration building and you ask to speak to Mark Neville, Mrs. Marinuzzi calls up the Englewood Cliffs Police Department and accuses me of murdering everybody in the town. The police department come to my house, 4 police cars come to my house looking for me. Ron Wolf, detective, calls me up, wants to interview me, stating that I want to kill multiple members in the town. And this is the type of town that we're running. A very mismanaged town, probably the most mismanaged town in the tri-state in our area. Between administration, flooding, leaf removal, the whole 9 yards. Okay? It's a disgrace. Today, on Pershing and Summit, people are flying through the stop sign like you can't believe. Fletcher Kramer came out. I sent David DiGregorio the pictures. They opened up Pershing and Floyd, okay? They ripped the stop on the street, the line off the street. They are responsible for calling up a striping company and restriping that street, or somebody from the borough should come out and notice there's no stop on the floor with no line. That's part of Mr. Bulgario's job. He's an administrator. He's got to be on top of all these things. But when you call him up, he doesn't even answer the phone. Another phony job, another guy getting over $100,000 a year coming in here and doing jack shit. Okay? Yeah, whatever money you're getting. I wouldn't hire you to clean my bathrooms in my shop. Okay? So this has become another street, Demrest and Floyd. They came, they opened that up right at the stop sign. There's no line, the stop is gone. They are responsible for destroying the streets and calling the striping company to redo them. And if they can't do it, it's your responsibility to walk around. 2 years ago, I called up Chris Kim. There was a load of wood in a street on John Street, okay? A load of wood with nails, with this, with that. And Chris Kim told me, that's not my job. It was nobody's job. It stayed out there for a week, and Mark was looking for the guy that threw that shit out. Nails in the boards. People are walking their dogs and all that.
Thank you so much. Okay, we will clean it up. Okay.
Everything
Thank you.
mismanaged.
Okay. Chief, you want to mention about it? Okay. Yes.
I just want to add something that was just brought to my attention when I went back to the desk. This is something I would ordinarily send you an email on, but since I'm still here, about 7 o'clock, there was a significant motor vehicle crash on the highway, a vehicle and a motorcycle. The Advanced Life Support Unit requested a medevac helicopter for the motorcycle rider. The helicopter landed on the field of Upper School to airlift the motorcycle rider to whatever medical facility they went to. But it, probably. But it was on 9W. But in case you hear about a helicopter landing on the Upper School, it was for an injured party for medevac.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you, good night.
Okay. Anybody else? And, okay, come on in.
Karen Geiger, 270 Alfred. I'm not going to speak about the flooding in the storm. I just have 2 simple comments. The 119-825 that you have in Resolution 24-176, which has to do with the electronic checking of all the stormwater outlets, yes, that Neglia is doing. It seems to me that there's a very close relationship between looking at the stormwater pipe systems that are under our streets and that particular task. And it would seem to me further that it would be foolish to ignore the opportunity that you have to enhance that contract and to add money to it so that it does something useful that we need, which is to assess whether our stormwater system is big enough and is properly delivering water. It may have the same problems that our sanitary sewer system has, and the sooner that we know about it, the better off we are. You have a competent engineering firm on hand that doesn't have a vested interest in promoting any particular agenda in this town. They're new to this. They have a contract. They're going to be looking at the same stormwater system that we are having issues with. I'm not going to speak about the issues. I'm not going to talk about Palisades Rock. I'm not going to talk about underground garages, which are problematic in this town, and in my opinion, should not be allowed to be built in new homes because of that. But I am going to talk about the need to assess what we have, and we have a unique opportunity. It has to be done anyway for state law, and I would request that you move to embellish that contract to do it. The other item I want to talk about is the sanitary sewers, which I had been following, and to my knowledge, we still have a problem. I received an email just 2 days ago that says that now we do have to go back to the state in order to complete the sanitary sewers. Where is Boswell Engineering? They are not managing this project, and neither is anybody else in the borough. We have $1.5 million in financing that is at risk if this project is not completed. We also have a court order that we have to comply with, that we have to know what's happening under Sylvan. Right now, the estimate from Boswell was $3 million for the sanitary sewers, and the only thing that's been done is the sanitary sewers in the rest of the town, not Sylvan Avenue. Sylvan Avenue is the genesis of the problem. That's the heart of the problem, and that's why we are supposed to be doing the analysis. So instead, we don't know what's happening under Sylvan, and all water flows downhill. I live closer to the bottom of the hill. I've seen myself what happened on Castle and what happened on every down street. And if you have an underground garage, the condition is exacerbated. But the water comes from above, and it has to be dealt with. And the storm and the sanitary sewers, we know are leaking. We have illegal connections. We know the number. There's a report out that tells you exactly how many illegal connections there are. Where is the task from this council to the building department to go out and find the people, either remediate and fine? That's simple. That can be done right away. You have the information in-house. The public doesn't have it yet, but you do. The other thing about the sanitary sewers is we know that on Sylvan Avenue, in times of great rainfall, we already have a documented report, we've had it for 2 years, that the sanitary sewers fill because they are porous or because they have breaks in them. And you approved spending up to $3 million to reline all those sanitary sewers and to deal with the issue. You're waiting for the issue on Sylvan Avenue. It has been almost a year, and this has not been dealt with. And it keeps going back and forth because I have the correspondence when I was on the committee from the state highway authority, then it's the county, and now it's back to the state. Well, somebody has to get on top of it and get this approved. It's not difficult. We've already spent far more than was authorized to do this. I still don't know how that happened. I read that one of our prior borough attorneys said it was an emergency, and he increased the amount of funding aligned. I don't think that was too legal, and I don't see the emergency because nothing's been done, even though it's a year later. So anyway, I'm very frustrated, and I'm bringing this to you because not only do we have issues with the last flood, which was a 500-year flood, according to the engineers. That doesn't make it easier, but we also have problems with our sanitary sewers, and we have to address the whole thing. It's in your hands, and it is a problem, and it has to be dealt with sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, yes, come on, yes. Yes, come on, please.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Martin Geiger of 270 Alfred Street. I understand, obviously, people are here concerned about the flood. There's another enormous looming issue in this town, and I hope you're not going to be distracted from dealing with it because of the flood issue. And that's, of course, the court trial, which is scheduled for about a month from now, on a potential $67 million liability we face, a payment to 800 Sylvan. At a previous meeting, Mr. Kim, Councilman Kim, suggested that there be a special meeting with the attorneys. I'm not sure if that ever took place or what the outcome of that might be, but there certainly has been mention of settlement and so forth. This court date, unless it's been changed, seems to be just around the corner. So I hope the council, the mayor and the council, borough attorney and all involved will not lose sight of the concern that that certainly raises in the community, aside from the, of course, the flooding issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
May I make
Just
Mayor?
a second, please. I want to finish all the public portion first. Anybody?
Okay, Mayor,
No one see?
No one online.
No one? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I just have a quick
Close the meeting. I need a motion to close.
motion.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, may I have the floor just for 1 minute, please, or less?
Okay, we are taking too long. I want to
All right, I'll be
take a
very-
5-minute break, okay?
No,
And then I'm gonna come back.
Before we go on break, I'll just have one quick, okay,
5-minute
very
break,
quick.
and then we can do that again.
Okay,
And here,
a second.
we're waiting a lot of the residents that they can go home.
Let them go home and
All right, before you go to break, I just want to say that I have a resolution authorizing Michael Yellen Esquire to negotiate an out-of-court settlement regarding 800 Sylvan Avenue development. I have the resolution here, and I'm going to ask, I'm not going to bother with closed session. I want this in open, and I want to have it on record. I have a number in here, we can discuss it maybe in closed. My number is $7 million. We have to get this behind us.
Listen, we cannot, you can't disclose numbers.
Mr. Mensch,
You can't-
excuse me. We need to get this resolved. I
agree.
was for the $6 million that was on the table.
Look, please,
I am
David,
putting this
David,
on,
please.
I'm putting this on the record. I want, and excuse me, I want Mr. Brett Tansman to know, and I want him to hear this loud and clear, that we have $7 million, and I want us to take a vote. Take a vote on this. We need, otherwise we're gonna end up paying $50 million.
send him the check.
We have to take care of this now.
I'm gonna vote to table, no motion.
I'm gonna pass
I'm
out.
second.
Can he do that?
Are we in discussion? Are we council discussion?
No, we're not discussing here.
Matt, can you advise us on when we could discuss this in public?
We need to settle this, and we need to settle.
My advice is that this conversation should be done. Excuse me, let's have the order. My advice is that this discussion should be done in closed
No.
session.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
With,
absolutely
with,
not.
Yes.
with consultation of Mr. Yellen, who's
Not gonna be done in
your
closed session.
litigation counsel.
Every council person here needs to go on record.
I
Yes,
don't
settle
need, and
or
you're not
no.
gonna tell us what to do.
Forget about the closed
You
session
wanna do it, you do it
negotiations.
yourself.
Excuse, I have,
Write a check,
motion on the
Mayor.
floor
What are we
to
doing?
table your motion and a second.
And a second.
Mayor,
Call
can,
the roll, please.
Yeah, roll call.
Then it's gonna be all of your responsibility.
discussion, Mayor, may I have discussion?
Not when you table something.
There's a discussion period prior to the, making a motion.
Go to the public.
Hold on, guys, hold on, guys, everybody, hang on, hold on.
right now, okay, as far as I'm aware, there's actually not been any motion to do anything. David has passed out a resolution. I don't believe there's been a motion to introduce this or to second it. So there needs to be, before there's motions to table, there would need to be a motion to introduce, followed by a second. If there is no motion to introduce or is no second, there's no need for a motion to table.
Discussion.
Second of all, hold on. Second of all, right now at this portion of the meeting, the mayor had previously asked for a motion for recess. There was Councilman Di Gregorio had asked for an opportunity for some time. There was all kinds of discussion over that. So, but before there's a motion to table, there would need to be a motion to introduce and a second. If there's none of
When
those
does the
things,
discussion take place, man?
Okay, motion
Yeah.
to table first,
The
right?
discussion takes place before the motion, right?
The discussion on a motion to table would not, there's not debate on.
No. A discussion on the original motion with the introduction of the resolution.
It should happen when there's a motion and a second.
Make the motion, David. Second. Discussion. It's discussion. It's discussion. This is discussion. Let's follow procedure. Matt, is it discussion?
There's discussion, but there was a motion to table and a second. So now there'd be a vote on the motion.
You can't do the discussion prior to the motion to table?
Okay,
Takes precedent.
please, everybody, calm down. Just follow our lawyer
Table and a second.
advisor. What is the procedure you do?
We have one of the biggest issues before our court. If you want to deal with the water problem, if you want to deal with the flooding in this town, you need the money. And in order to have the money, we need to get rid of our litigation, where we are facing $65 million in potential damages. I have 3 votes currently to reach a settlement with 800 Silver. I'm looking for a full vote. I called every single council member on this board, as well as the mayor.
You know, as an attorney, we need to speak about this in closed session before this happens. I don't care what you're an attorney, you know.
I am not talking about the terms of the settlement. I'm not talking about the terms of settlement.
You know that
You
this
can
is
make your motion after we come out. We should have.
Council member, the public has to know. No, shame on you. The public has to know. If you want to fix your flooding problems and have money, you want to fix the sewer system, the sanitary sewer systems, the storm water systems, you need money. And in order to have money, you need to get rid of pending claims that are over $65 million and more in this borough.
Shame on you.
I give the check.
Okay, just, okay, sit down, please, don't move it.
I know.
Please,
I
sit
can't
down.
believe the
No.
cooperation we
Please,
have
sit down, okay, everybody
on
sit down.
supposedly
Please don't get
a
upset.
government that we're supposed to have ruling Englewood Cliffs.
Okay, question.
You know, I spent 50 years of my life.
Sir, you
No,
can't.
I want to tell it.
No, sir, it's.
You're all
there's no-
talking, that
Take the vote on the motion to table. Take the vote.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. No, Dave, Dave, have the nerve to let me talk.
Hold on. Sir,
I spent
there's no,
50 years of my life.
no more
to come up
there's no more public comment right now, sir. I'm sorry. You gotta sit down, sir.
I don't have anything to say about how you guys run
you gotta,
business.
you gotta sit down.
I don't need a mic. They can hear me. I talk louder than you guys do with a mic.
So Laura,
It's
you should be
ridiculous to see
calling a
my-
motion to table.
I thought it's a
Motion to table.
Member Liang,
6 years
Okay.
ago.
Member Liang,
This is all public time.
Member
I can't
Yes.
pay the bill.
Member Kim,
No.
Do you pay attention?
Member Di Gregorio,
No, not to table.
Okay, now,
Member Simon,
yes, to table.
And I can't have anything.
Member
to say
Luciano.
about how they conduct the business.
You,
It's a sham.
you have,
tabling the
Motion to
table.
table.
you are witnessing all council people except the governing body, all except two want to address this issue. Everyone wants to run for
Abstain,
the
right.
hills.
So it's an abstention, so
I
mayor,
want this
That's the
settled,
mayor.
and we must get it settled.
It's 2-2. Oh,
it's 3, yeah, it's three votes to table.
Is it table?
Right? It was
What are we doing now?
vote to table, vote to table, vote to table.
Okay,
Three
okay,
votes to
5
table,
minute
two
break.
noes.
Oh, 5 minutes.
5 minute break, everybody. Please calm down, please. Calm down. I need a motion to come out closed session.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second? Anybody second?
The MOU that's on the agenda that you guys, someone made an MOU and you made such a big issue about MOUs and now we didn't hear one thing about an MOU.
With the PBA.
Or the
You know what?
PBA.
Can I have second to close, or to come out of close?
Yeah, so moved.
Okay.
Where's Chris?
So we have an MOU to
What's the MOU?
memorandum of
Understanding.
understanding that you
With the
guys
PBA.
complained about the backroom, not you personally, but some people complained about a backroom deal with the last MOU. And now I come in on the agenda that there's been no discussion about an MOU and we have an MOU with the police. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and it's with, yeah, so I guess it's their contract. It's their contract.
Yeah. Who authorized it? Who sat in on that discussion?
You know
and
anything
came
about
up with
this,
an MOU?
Charlie?
I know everything about it. Oh, good. Well, maybe you can let us know.
When you ask me, I'll. Okay. Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to settle with 800 Sylvan for $7 million.
Hey, gosh.
And I'd like to, and I would also, yeah, thank you. I would like to also,
You're just dealing our hand right to the public and you're an idiot.
and I would also like to invite Mr. Brett Tansman to our next week, to our council meeting next week.
We're dealing next week with the.
And I'd like him to be here in person and speak with all of us. He did mention to us at one point that he wanted to be a good neighbor, and I would ask that he would be called and that we invite him here next week and that we put the number on the table of $7 million
So you're
to settle.
gonna circumvent the attorney, you're gonna circumvent Yellen?
We have to do something. We have a court date coming up, and we have to do something. Evidently, there's a minority on this council that doesn't want to do anything. We have to do something. It's incumbent on us as the governing body to protect this town against $15, $20 million, $30 million. And that's why I said, and I have another resolution, that.
We don't have business.
Yes. So the other resolution, the other resolution
Mark, please take over.
is that,
You know we want
excuse me,
business here.
I'll be done in 1 second. The other resolution.
We're taking the whole night, please.
The other resolution is to
cares?
publish on the website exactly how each council person
I
votes.
don't publish nothing and that's it. Come on,
Oh, you want everything secret?
Okay,
Okay.
this motion, okay. Listen everyone.
Okay, so.
This motion to be tabled.
nonsense.
This is not, cannot, it relates to the public, okay? Should be tabled. Motion to tabling?
No.
No, there's no second, Mayor, there's no second.
No second?
That's a second for his motion, he has first.
Okay, well, at least I made the motion. That's all, it's now basically, the ball is on your court. We could take action tonight in public, but you are all refusing.
Just a second, please. Okay. Okay,
No, he can go.
Do business.
Don't let anybody interrupt me.
okay, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion, we've had discussion, a few council members from, the legal committee, and I'd like to make a motion to rescind, there was an authorization for our attorneys to make a decision what's in the best interest of the borough with moving forward with litigation. And I would like to make a motion that any litigation that requires us for an appeal or to move forward in a case should not be a sole decision of our attorneys, okay? David, pigs at the trough, no disrespect, Mr. Mensch, but, I don't think attorneys should be making the decision whether we move forward with appeals. I think that's something that should come back to the full members of the council, and the full members of the council should make that decision. I think it's foolish of us to just break a resolution and say, oh, whatever's in the best interest, because you know what? What's in the best interest today, once we get other cases and figure out, you know, what path we're going down, that, you know what, we might not wanna proceed. And if I was an attorney, I'd be hell-bent to proceed, because you know what? It's just extra money. And Mr. Mensch, I don't mean to torture you at all, but I just think that, you know, it's something that, you know, procedurally, I think it should be decided by all of us, not necessarily the legal committee. I mean, these are big issues. We have big appeals that some things have been pushed forward that I don't think that was ever really voted on because of a resolution that said, so that's my motion, and
You need a second?
well, if the motion
Okay.
wants to move forward, it does.
Okay. I think that that's reasonable for the legal committee to be able to bring it back to the council.
Okay, I need time to think about it, I'm not,
Okay.
I just think it's asinine for us to have attorneys making
Okay,
decisions
I-
on what we're doing and it's in the
I have to
best
think
interest of
about
our
it.
borough.
I don't wanna
To
say
make
no.
appeals.
May I ask our attorney to weigh in on that? You're a mayor also, so.
Yeah, but it's yes, but different form of government, but, so the resolution, that Councilman Luciano is mentioning is the one that was done, back in April that we did regarding, and so when we had a couple different Oprah matters all kind of happening at the same time, when we had issues with regard to, you know, several different attorneys, one of whom was, special counsel was taking a difference of opinion on what and how to handle cases from what the majority of the governing body had generally wanted to do with regard to litigation strategy across multiple cases. That matter, by the way, that issue is still ongoing. We didn't talk about it tonight, but it's a whole separate matter. So I think as a general matter, certainly, and anything that I do with regard to approving or trying to give direction to either my office, myself, or special counsel, is obviously done with in conformance, at least with my understanding of what the borough governing body has indicated to be the strategy, legal strategy. One of the problems that we have encountered, and we've seen this recently because in some of our Oprah cases, we've had to appeal a couple things emergently. So there was an issue where Irene Asbury had filed, on the public docket, communications between me and her that are attorney-client privileged or work product privilege that, were attached to a public docket that, went in front of the judge, which we immediately appealed. We immediately went to the judge. Judge Farrington said this should never be on the docket. Judge denied it. We immediately appealed it because you don't want to have a situation where you're waiving attorney-client privilege. That's problematic. We've had some issues with regard to those matters. And part of the problem, and the reason I think this resolution was done the way it was because there's a timing issue on some of these things. So on a big appeal, let's just, pick we'll pick 800 Sylvan just because it's right. If the borough was going to decide whether or not to, appeal a decision in 800 Sylvan, that litigation, that's going to be a decision that's going to be made, by the governing body. My office is not going to unilaterally decide, guys, we're not appealing it, we're appealing it. But there's timelines on this stuff, right? You have 45 days typically for an appeal, which usually is enough time for the governing body to get together and make a decision on major litigation. With regard to the, some of the Oprah litigations and some of those other matters that we've been handling, some of those have been emergent type appeals. So the idea of this resolution, the reason it was passed initially was to make sure that we're not, hamstrung by a governing body that, your schedule meets once a month, and meanwhile, there are orders that the judge is entering with regard to disclosure of documents, disclosure of Oprah, imposition of fees, any number of those items that we need to move on quickly. So,
Well, Mr. Mensch, to interrupt you, and I apologize,
Yeah.
but we know we're not, we have more special meetings. We just had a storm, we're having a special, 2 days ago, we decided, or yesterday, we decided to have the special meeting next week.
Right.
There's so many ways around
Hey,
it. I'm just
I-
not happy. And
Understood. That's it.
She's not sure. He wants to get your opinion.
Oh,
And it's
that's-
not the issues of those emergent things.
Yeah,
I
it's-
just think it's a bad policy for us to make
That's-
a resolution. David Ablam all the time. Pigs at the trough, pigs at the trough. How much more when you have attorneys making a decision to continue a lawsuit without government approval? And like I said, things change every day. Every
It's-
time an order comes down that we thought we were moving one direction, then all of a sudden, just like David's settlement, another decision comes down, and you know what? It makes us look, it puts us in a
It's-
worse light. I don't
Yeah.
think that then, if I was an attorney, I'd say, yeah, we're still pushing it, because I'm billing 250, 350, 500, whatever the hell it is. I don't think it's a good policy.
Yeah, and that's, just to be clear, it is a policy discussion from the governing body. I typically try to send out, I can't always do it every once a week, but I typically try to do it at least every other week, an update of all litigation. So certainly the governing body could leave it as is. The governing body could amend it and say, you have certain authority, we're retracting it, we're clarifying it. The governing body could obviously, when you get those case updates, to the extent that you have questions, I mean,
In all fairness,
yeah.
your litigation updates don't always include the appeals.
Oh, they should.
don't.
They should, absolutely. I mean, if there's appeals that we're handling.
Well, maybe all the attorneys
Yeah.
should submit to the governing
Yeah.
body what
There's-
it is they're appealing, or
Right.
come before the legal committee
Right.
and present that, so they can make the determination whether the council should weigh in on it.
Yeah,
But
but
we're
it's
spending a
completely,
lot of money on all these appeals.
Yeah.
Reach
Yeah,
out
and
to
it's-
the legal- If it's something like you're saying, oh, we have an Oprah case, then you know what? Whatever, we dropped the ball and we have to file something, not you, we
I
dropped
know,
the
I
ball and have to file something by tomorrow. That's a no-brainer. But you know what? I'm talking about the substance and the meat and potatoes of, we have significant litigation, and I just don't think it's a good policy. I wanna cut you off, because there's a
it's-
motion.
yeah,
there's a second,
whatever-
We heard your
Dude.
opinion. I
It's-
think,
Was there a motion? Was there a motion and a
there
second?
was a motion and a second.
I make a motion to table.
I second the motion too.
Give me 1 second, let me just write this. Okay. Member Liang?
Just hold up. Let's refresh the whole thing. What are we talking
Although,
about?
this is respectfully, sir.
Just to
once-
table.
Just to be procedurally, there's a motion to table, it cuts off discussion, that's what our attorney and our mayor should be telling us.
It's for table, right?
It's a motion to table the motion to, I guess it was
Rescind-
revoke, right, to
rescind that
rescind the
policy.
language that
And make sure that
allows.
the attorneys come to us and make sure
Before
that
we
they
spend
get,
our money
right,
on appeals.
things at the trough. So, call the vote, there's no discussion.
So this is a motion to table.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begats?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
No,
No.
Council Luciano? It passes.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to table.
Okay, next item is, what is this?
Approval of minutes.
Number 8.
Approval minutes, I need a motion and a second to approve the minute. I need a motion.
Yeah.
I need second. Okay,
It don't matter, minutes don't matter.
okay, each individual or we can do the whole together, right? We can call whole together, right?
You can call all together, yeah.
Yeah, all together are gonna, approve this minute. March 13, 2024 closed session, March 13, 2024 regular meeting, March 27, 2024 special meeting, April 10, 2024 closed session, and April 10, 2024 regular meeting. I need a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve.
I need a second.
Read all the minutes?
Yes.
Vote, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begats?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
abstain.
Present.
It passes.
Okay, I need a motion to pay the Perry, what is the last name? Perry, Collegian.
This
to
is,
pay
this
the-
is the motion to resolve pending potential litigation with resident Perry, Collegian,
Collegian.
pursuant to, execution of a release and settlement agreement with, the resident, and then authorizing payment, assuming the resident signs the, the waiver, then we'd be able to issue, the check in the amount of the estimate, which we verified, and the amount in total is,
2,000.
it's, $1,999.22.
Okay, I need a motion. I need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, the second.
Second? Melanie?
Second.
Okay, both.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Council Luciano?
Okay, thank you. And motion and the second to approve the bill list. Payment of claims, resolution 24-167. I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Yeah. The bill list.
Hold on for 1 second, I'm sorry.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Just got this.
Oh, you're talking about the bill list?
Yeah, bill list.
Resolution.
I think it should get a second and just move on, because to get a bill list today, the final bill list this afternoon, you expect us to be able to go through it all and see it all.
We have a meeting next week.
And plus, you already have stuff on there, we got a list that says this has already been paid, doesn't even need our approval. So that's, but the most important thing is that payroll's been paid, but, once again, I'm drawing about, supposed to get a bill list on the Friday before, didn't get the final bill list till today.
So I would make a motion then to
Table it to
Table.
table,
next week.
but I
You haven't
also,
got a second.
well, wait a second.
There's no second.
I also, I'll just make a comment if I may. Next week, will Shuaib be returning?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to have him reminded that there was a resolution for him to do a cash management report. So he should be prepared to do that and to go, and to be prepared at the next meeting.
You made a resolution on that, didn't you?
Yes,
Like last year,
a few months ago.
more than a few months. How many reports have you got?
It was probably in the,
How many reports have you got?
that's why I'm asking.
I'm just asking, how many reports have you got?
I don't know for sure, but I'm asking for him to be prepared.
Zero, can you? Because you know as well as I do, we've got no report.
I think we did, I don't
Oh,
know.
one time. You mean the first month of the resolution, and we never got another one after that?
Well, that's why I'm reminded,
not saying-
that's all.
I agree with you, David, but I want you to say, because you know what? I've been accused of going after this person, and all I'm pointing out is deficiencies, like that. That should be an issue that our borough administrator, after a resolution that said, you know what? This employee is supposed to give us a cash management plan, why haven't we only got one in the past 9 months? That's my point.
Okay, so let's start with this month. I'm glad I brought it up.
I need a second,
Table.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
table.
table it for next week.
Yeah.
There's no
Oh,
second.
so-
No second, so we don't have to table it.
Goes nowhere. Okay, nobody seconded it, so, good.
So what about this
Next,
table?
168.
Pass?
No second, no, that didn't pass.
You passed? Okay. Yes, then you know. Okay. Okay, next item, so approval of resolutions. This one is each item by item, right?
Yes.
Okay, I need motion each resolution.
Motion.
I want to, okay, read the 24-168.
168.
Motion.
Yeah, 168. Oh, I need a motion.
David did.
Yeah.
David made the
Second.
motion.
I just need a second.
Vote. Roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And the 24-169, I need a motion.
Motion. Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Can I just ask Mr. Barbario a question? Who's currently doing the shade tree pruning?
Reliable Concerns.
And you're going out to bid?
Yes, I'm not the executive.
Okay. You have somebody else in mind, just out of curiosity?
No, I don't.
He usually was the most reasonable.
Yeah, so, I did receive a bid from him, and then I asked another tree company, and they were 50% less.
Really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I have to test the waters.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets? Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Okay, 24-170, I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion to table. I believe there was a comment made by somebody from the public saying that the resolutions does not include the original tax assessment that was applied. And yeah, I agree with her. I think that information should be included in these resolutions.
I didn't see it.
No, the original tax appeal numbers, the original assessment is not in there. Yeah, it tells you what the finals, what the agreed upon assessment is, but it doesn't say.
You wanna table it?
Yeah, I made a motion. Yeah, I made a motion to table.
We had a first, a second already, right?
Yeah, the motion now is to
No,
table.
Okay.
Okay, I agree on this one, I don't see it.
Okay, roll call table, the roll call, please.
Okay. So it was Kim. Who seconded
The
that?
Schedule
You
A,
did,
the
right?
Schedule A
Simon.
go with 24-170, then you have it.
No, none of them have the original, what
It
it,
says here.
assessment.
19 withdrawn, reduction to 22, okay, it doesn't have the original, you're right, okay, thank you.
Okay, next.
So,
Okay,
you
member
got
Lee-
a second for the table, roll call?
Yes. Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Aye, for that reason, that, for whatever reason, we've requested this number of times to address it as well as all the information which is not here, so I'll motion to, I'll vote to table.
Okay, thank you. 24-171, I need a motion.
We have to make a motion, the same information is there, why don't we just pass it, so not to go through the gyration of tabling it?
Tabling?
Well, no, why don't we just not make the motion, because
Right.
it has the same information, just pass on.
Same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just passing.
Okay, just
Let's
gonna
skip it.
pass. Okay, 24-172, I need a motion. Appointment of,
Who's our fund commissioner? Who,
David,
Jerry, Jerry.
did we vote on that?
Yeah, a couple of meetings ago.
The beginning of the year, I thought.
I was just asking, I don't recall, thank you.
So what was, alternate? Oh,
172.
oh, okay, all right,
Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
second.
Roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
There's a good question on this agenda, which now I like it, but it says that Jif made the request for this
Yeah,
motion?
because we do not have an alternate, we need an alternate.
They made they requested that we identify
Yes.
an alternate, not necessarily, they didn't say, I identify Laura Borges as being
no.
the alternate. Okay, yes, aye.
Okay, 24-173, I need a motion.
This is the mysterious MOU.
Yeah, this I'm waiting for Mr. Barbario.
So in June, in closed session, our labor attorney appeared before everyone here and discussed a PBA MOU that was resolved. And we were waiting for the PBA to sign off on it before I brought it to council. So he described the details of the MOU. I can describe the details of the MOU if you want me to. I have no problem doing that.
Can you just send us a copy of the MOU? Oh, you did, okay.
I don't recall him coming in and discussing, I mean, I
Yeah, he
remember
did.
we had a discussion of,
did
other
discuss
issues,
issues,
whether
but
we
not
should
that one. So can
pay,
you
whether
give
we
us
should
an
not
overview?
pay, different things.
Sure.
I
So
remember
he,
that.
he discussed that the MOU included a 5-year contract, of which this year they've already received a
Yeah, we
2%
did.
increase.
Yeah,
That's when
yes.
we discussed the 2% increase that they had. In the beginning of the year, even though council didn't approve it. And then they have, for the next 4 years, 25, 26, 27, 28, 2 2.75% increase. Okay. And then we also agreed to a sick incentive, so that if they don't use any sick days, they would get a certain dollar amount based on the time of the year to try to reduce the sick time usage so that we don't have to impact it by overtime. Yeah, so all of that,
That's
so
what I remember.
if you can recall the discussion was, why did they get a 2% increase in the beginning of this year before I got here, which was verified by the payroll clerk, Rich. And that was part of the discussion, then he went into the MOU and the details of the MOU. So you have a copy of the MOU, it's exactly the way he described it, nothing has changed, except that the chairperson of the PBA negotiating committee signed off on it. So you have that copy.
I do remember, I just remember coming in and we talked about that 2%.
Yeah.
And what we could and couldn't do, and what we should and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I don't remember about all that other stuff, and even a mention of an MOU, but
It was-
that's just my,
It was very basic, it wasn't very detailed.
yeah, it was more about taking away.
Well, we can't talk about that. Okay, thank you.
It was pretty basic, but Chris, you should have it in your emails. I
Okay.
sent it just a few minutes ago. And I also provided it to Laura on Friday, so
Oh, you sent it just a few minutes ago, or?
I resent it.
Oh, okay,
I sent
okay.
it Friday out.
Oh, okay, got it.
It had been Friday, yeah.
Oh, I see it. The Word document, okay.
Okay, I need a motion. 170.
Need a motion?
Second.
Motion it?
need
I
a
made the motion.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Bejetz? Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Okay, 24, that's 174. I need a motion.
And someone, Gino's making a suggestion, I'm a little confused as to who knows about this besides Gino. This is the first I'm hearing it and seeing it is in our agenda packet within the past couple of days.
What do you say, Mr.
If we have a construction code official that went from $7,000 to $170,000, and now he's making a recommendation that we pay the inspectors a stipend for more money, what is the construction code official doing? Does he do inspections or not?
I may have missed it, but is there a first and a second in discussion, or I don't know if that
Well,
happened.
no,
yet.
this is just, you don't run the meeting, but this is just a.
Road, use, we're only getting 300,000, take whatever other things and pay for those roads. Some kind of analysis of this thing.
So if we
Seems
do,
asinine to me.
if we do, we will lose the 2 state grants. The 2
But-
state grants were applied for Floyd Street only. We have to return the money if we have
I understand
PSCG,
that.
which we could do.
But
We got
right now,
PSCG.
until I get an analysis from somebody, we're getting, I'm gonna even bump it up, we're getting $300,000 for $1 million+ road repair. And the grant, right? And I understand there's certain things that PSE&G, we did the horse trading. I don't have any detail of what that was. Okay? To me, I'd rather make them pay for the whole damn street and let's pay for the other streets. And we need to do some kind of cost analysis to see if it's beneficial to us. As bad as Floyd Street is and all the damage that they did on Floyd Street, they should be held accountable for it. We should go to another street and say, okay, horse trade on that.
We
They have-
cannot use, we cannot use the guys, right?
They have given us
And I don't mean it towards you.
7,500 cubic yards of asphalt. We can direct them to do Floyd Street, and that would require us to return the money back to the state. So that's really what it is. They will do Floyd Street, but we can't use the state grant money on Floyd Street.
Okay, so it's
if they do it.
$1.2 million versus 300 then.
You're leaving?
It is.
I can talk and answer from all different parts of the room. I'm just stretching my legs, but yes, I'm gonna leave. Because I think 11 o'clock is ridiculous.
It's the choice of council. It's the choice of council. If you
It's
want,
introduction,
but if you want PSE&G to pay Floyd, I can get that done and get their approval, not their approval, tell them to do it tomorrow. Because it is on our list of quantities that they owe us.
Well, this is an introduction only. Can we do it by introduction and have somebody do an analysis of what roads and the cubic yards that we're getting?
Yeah,
It
what
just
are we
seems to
getting
me
out
for
of it?
$300,000 to have the taxpayers have to put $700,000. I just don't have, maybe in front of me, maybe in front of you, sir, respect, is you have it down somewhere that says, you know what? This is beneficial to us. But today, you get a bond ordinance and not know anything.
7,500 cubic feet.
What is it
being
worth?
used
What
on
was it worth?
$1 million. It's worth $1 million.
It worth $1 million.
It's worth $1 million.
Okay.
So we're
So-
using those
so it's really the
quantities,
same.
we're using those quantities on other streets.
I know what
To
you're
get other
saying.
streets paid.
So it's really the same. Any way you're gonna turn it.
It's the same. It's the same, except the state has restrictions on
That's
how
how
we
we
go
do
out to
it.
bid. That's
Right.
the problem here.
It's the same.
If I could take the 350 and pave a portion of Floyd and then have PSE&G do it, that would be great.
You
But
can't
the
do
state
it.
won't let us do
I
that.
know. It's the same thing.
That
Any way you're gonna
was
turn it.
discussion,
Okay.
but go ahead and make.
Okay, roll
Member
call please.
Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets? Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes,
Member
yes.
Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano? Next one.
Okay, I need a motion for the 24-12, multiple purpose bond ordinance, capital improvements and purchase.
Anybody have any idea what this is for?
Capital improvements.
No, I mean, I know you know, sir.
Oh.
Without respect,
Oh, sorry.
I'm just
Oh,
wondering
sorry.
if people up there.
I
that
apologize.
Are our elected officials that are going to make the motion and vote on it, if they have any idea, because I have no idea what it is. I don't know what the equipment is, I don't know what the bond is, I don't know who asked bond counsel to
There
put
is
together.
a sub list to that.
Right here. It's on the resolution. It's on the ordinance.
No,
It's
I know.
We just
completely
got it today,
detailed.
So I mean,
It's completely,
do we even have it?
it's completely detailed. In all
Okay,
the
look at
form.
the complete, there's a detail, I know we worked on it in the finance committee.
It's which department is requesting and what
Yeah,
agreement
that's
it
it
is,
now.
all of it.
But
It's
unfortunately,
complete.
Mr. Rivera, no, it's nothing towards you. When we get the packet like this again,
I know,
every
shoot
month
it
I say the
together.
same damn thing. No disrespect to you either, Ms. Fortune, you're held behind the 8 ball as well. But when we get our stuff together and we get a packet like this at 4 o'clock today for a 6 o'clock meeting, I don't expect anybody to know it. That's why I'm being a little sarcastic and saying, did you all read it? We didn't even know it was in here until Mr. Barbario pointed it out to us. That's the biggest gripe that I have about everything with our communication. And you can shake your head all you want.
So this is $1 million,
I can get a
this is $1 million, $1 million capital improvement bond introduction. It's for license plate readers, it's for technology and communication equipment, it's for air packs and gear, it is for a boiler at the fire company, it is for a leaf vacuum, salt shed, which is required by the DEP and EPA, sewer and pump station rehabilitation. It's for vehicles, for public works, one vehicle, which is a roll-off truck. It does our roll-off containers. It's for sewer cleaning and smoke testing, which has already been completed. It is all of that.
Okay, I need a motion.
Anytime.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Biagats?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Okay, thank you. And the committee report, okay. Anybody to do?
I'm sorry, there was a discussion in closed session about doing a resolution for an RFP for engineers, sewer and wastewater engineers. I'm sorry, storm.
Stormwater system.
Right.
Really, it was, Ms. Begats was all, analysis of all of our water issues. Whether it's storm, right, isn't that?
All.
So,
So if I, from my notes from closed session, there was a motion, I thought there was agreement, I think, to go out for an RFP, or Q, I apologize. But, yeah, but I just, yes, so
For
we
a
just,
firm that does all of it, has the
Correct.
capability to
Correct.
hire,
So-
to hire
so we
people
just-
to analyze everything.
Right.
Neglia, Neglia is the firm that I think we should use.
so that's the motion.
correct, so that's
I'll make
Okay.
the motion.
Okay, I need a second.
first and second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Biagats?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio? Member Di Gregorio?
I think we should use Neglia. We have them.
It's a no?
No, that's it.
I guess the RFQ wouldn't hurt, so I'll say yes.
Member Simon?
Ridiculous.
I thought I said yes, but I'll say yes again.
Member Luciano?
I'll say yes again as well.
Okay, committee report. Anybody to do that?
Committee reports.
I have to leave, I have surgery tomorrow.
Okay,
Alright,
go on, okay.
Good luck.
Okay, we can finish, okay, you can go. Okay, good luck tomorrow. Good luck,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
I got a motion by
Melanie, this dropped out.
Melanie, you dropped something.
Can we adjourn?
Okay,
I said,
Second.
I need, okay. We did already motion, and the second, okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, good night.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.